Arkansas Select Volleyball Club focuses on personal and athletic development of our student athletes and creates a safe, positive, and effective learning environment in which student athletes strive to achieve individual excellence within a team dynamic. We view the volleyball court as our classroom, transformed to teach lessons of character, discipline, respect, responsibility, accountability, commitment, leadership, work ethic, teamwork, courage, integrity, communication, the importance of sacrifice and sportsmanship, plus many other important values on and off the court. Search Arkansas Select Volleyball online or visit our Facebook page, Arkansas Select Volleyball, to find out more.
And finally, a Central Arkansas success story. A salute to my friends of the Natural State Sports Network.
Few people are enjoying calling high school games more than Steve Henson.
25-20, 15, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give him 6. What a play by the Coyote.
So much fun to be able to call the game with that excitement. The parents love it. The fans love it. The kids just absolutely eat it up. We could get him involved more. That kid's, he's got a ton of talent.
Steve and his partner, Will Watkins, who Steve calls the mastermind, did their first game 5 years ago. Fast forward to 2025, 5 schools now have contracts with the Natural Sports Network.
It was one of those things where, you know, when we started doing it, we had no idea what we were doing. So it was like, hey, we'll do it, and if people think it's cool, then great. There's no way you could have gotten me to believe that we'd be where we are today and the impact we've had.
Good decision by the Bears to hold it right there.
Oh! And they take pride in the quality of their broadcasts.
We want to be able to put out something that's not just, you know, anybody can, with the advent of Huddle and everything else, anybody can put a stream out now. But we want something that that the viewer can enjoy, and from commentary to the angles to the cameras.
Hornets are headed to Bank of the Ozark Arena on Saturday.
They say the guy behind camera, Will Watkins, searches YouTube on how to do games. He's been the mastermind behind the whole deal. But
it's a quality product.
Yeah, it's a great team over there.
Okay, good stuff, Sully. Thanks very much. We'll be right back.
All right, to begin session 2 of day 2, we will have the Baptist Prep Eagles. They're led by head coach Riley Perkins. And coach, I will pass it over to you to give your opening statement and introduce who you brought with you.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys so much for doing this, for having this every year, for what it means to Arkansas high school football. It's huge the past few years, so appreciate that. To get into the guys up here, we have Shep Garrison, Aaron Fielder, Boaz Benson, and Titus Benson, who are here with us today. And to kind of just go through them a little bit. Shep, first of all 4 of these guys are going to have the potential to play college football. I love where this team is at. I'm excited for these guys, for the leadership that they've brought this season. Shep Garrison is our leading rusher and leading tackler from last year. He returns. Aaron Fielder, who played quarterback for us last year, is going to move back out to receiver where, you know, he should be, where he lives. And then, he's a 3,000-yard guy last year. He's a really talented player, 4.4 this summer at multiple camps. He can really run. Boaz Benson, who has double-digit offers, multiple Division I offers as tight end and defensive end. He's going to be a really talented player. And the only non-senior up here is sophomore quarterback Titus Benson. So excited for what these guys do, what they're going to do for us this year as a team, and we really like where we're at.
And so you're one of the many coaches we'll be hosting that's at your alma mater. I know it was really important to you to come in and really just reestablish the culture and build on all kinds of different things. And, you know, last year there was a few games that, you know, really could have gone either way that could have helped y'all take that next step. As you said, I mean, a lot of expectations this year, added a couple of new guys, some new guys. So, and you touched on it right there. You know, you got a lot of talent coming in. So I know this is probably that year where you feel like y'all are really going to take that next step and make a run to the postseason.
For sure. I think so. And I think back to this senior class, actually their freshman year was our first year as a staff that we came in. And so this is the first class we've kind of seen all the way through and have taken their lumps a little bit as we have advanced through the years, but really like where we're at and the potential and the growth. And like you mentioned, last year we went 3-7. I'm not here to say it was a huge success, But there were times where you could see in 6 of the 7 losses we had fourth quarter leads, and we were just trying to figure out how to win. I mean, I think we've closed that gap. I think the coaching staff that we have brought in is one of the best in the class. I would argue, and just the totally different approach we've had to everything since January has put us in a really good spot. And yeah, we have a great senior class of great leaders, great young men, and great football players. So I like where we're at.
So you had a new defensive coordinator. Can you talk a little bit about what he brings to the table?
Yeah, years of experience, years of knowledge. He's also our director of sports performance, so he runs our weight room. He's the dad of the 2 Benson boys over here. Intense energy, a lot of knowledge that we have relied on. He's been around the game longer than me. He's been around just people who understand certain things about the weight room that we've implemented this year, and he's brought a whole new level of defensively. He's brought a whole new level of just intensity, confidence, instilling in those guys, and he's been honestly a great person for me to be able to rely on from his different stops to make me a better coach as well.
This question's all for the players. All 4 of you, this is not just the traditional same position 3 years in a row, right, at the same school. We'll start down here with Shep, because Shep, you took several years off from football, then come back, and now you're the leading returning rusher, leading tackler at Baptist Prep. Changed positions, new schools, but just start down here with Shep, and just talk about, being embraced by the school, being, changing positions, putting the team before yourself, changing schools, just like to hear from all 4 of you guys.
I would just say how good of a job Coach Perkins has done and how good of a job Coach Benson has done recently, just preparing us and building us up, making us just better athletes, I would say.
Me personally, I would say just going from quarterback back to wide receiver, you help you understand the game a little better. Now read a defense, understand, okay, they're in man, understand how now you change your route based on the coverage they're in, seeing it different. As playing quarterback, you're the leader of the team. Now coming back out to receiver, still being that leader out in the field. So that's my biggest takeaway.
For me, changing schools, Baptist Prep has welcomed us, me and my dad and my sister and my brother and my mom. They've helped us out and get used to the school. I think football-wise, all the kids are amazing. They all love us. They all are supportive and very positive, and it helps us play better as a football player.
Yeah. I would like to add to that, just changing schools all the time. Most of the time, it gets hard sometimes going to a new school if you're accepted or not, if the kids like you. But Baptist Prep has really been the home I've been looking for, me and my family, and they've been so sweet and kind. And it's a team I want to be with when we go win. And it's been a long time awaited, and we're going to be unstoppable. Can't wait.
Coach, you talked about all 4 of these guys. They're going to obviously play huge roles this year, but likely will play at the next level as well. But you got a lot of returning starters on both sides of the football. So who are maybe some other guys along with these 4 that we should watch for?
I think as you go down the list, and the thing that I love about this group is we could have brought 10 guys or 12 guys. We've got a great team, an incredibly fun team to be around. Football is a small percentage of what we do. These guys are just awesome to be around outside of football. And those experiences that we've shared this summer, from going on trips and camps and eating at David's Burgers and doing all that stuff together. But I think as you go down the line, we've got Canton Hatcher and Hutch Fenton and guys that, like I said, this senior class, we got them as freshmen. Well, a lot of those guys as freshmen played on high school football. And so this is their 4th year of varsity experience. And just the growth that they've taken over the years is so significant. But you really could go down the line. Carson Wake is going to be a huge piece for us. And Andrew Green, who didn't play last year, is going to be a huge piece for us. And you really could go down the list of the senior class. That's awesome. And then some guys that we're really excited to see on the field. It's a really good crew, one that makes coaching easy, one that makes coaching fun. But yeah, just a great crew that likes to be around each other and enjoy life outside of football as well. And that's where the memories are made, and that's where, the special times with these guys.
And we've already hosted a couple of teams from your league. We'll host more as the days go by here. But, I mean, you just look at it, Carlisle's kind of been the standard there. Powen's had some good years. They've got a new head coach, but not a new coach on staff. Hampton's coming off of a great season. As obviously, you guys are expected to do big things. Clay Toddy, one of the legends of this state, is now at Hazen. So it's already been a deep league, but you've already got quite a bit of storylines coming into the year.
Yeah, no, and that's awesome. I think 2A football is good football, and 2A football in our conference is some historical powerhouses. Like you said, Carlisle is Carlisle, and their new coach was on staff last year, and he did a great job running their offense. And like you said, Hampton, they won it last year, and coach does an incredible job over there. And yeah, you add Clay Toddy to the league, and it's like, man, it's stacked. Every week is tough, but you don't play the game for the easy nights. You play the game for those nights that the lights shine a little brighter and the stands are a little more full, and that's what we expect this season. That's what we strive for every day. Yeah, every week there's no off weeks in our conference. Episcopal has gotten a lot better even in our league. So from top to bottom, it is it's every week is tough, but yeah, that's why you play the game. That's what you want.
And from the players, Titus, we'll start with you down here this time. But what are some things, of course, obviously you and Boaz coming from Northwest Arkansas and a previous team, but each one of you, what are some things that after the season last year that you looked at and were like, all right, this is what I really need to focus on throughout the offseason?
For me, it's just seeing the defense whenever the linemen, there's a lot of stuff going on when you're just passing the ball. And we didn't do that much at Siloam, but here I'm more confident and I trust my own line. I take them anywhere, and I'm glad they're blocking for me. So just trusting that my guys are going to be where they're supposed to be and just having the faith that they're going to be there so I can put the ball where it needs to be.
For me, I had a big defensive year last year, so this year I got focused on more offensive technique, how to block on based off of where they're lined up on defense, D-line wise or linebacker wise, running routes, how to position myself to get open so I can get the ball from our team.
For me personally, as Perk said, is in the league that we are in, it's not going to be a cruise. You're gonna have to compete every day for everything you have each week, in week in, week out. So just working each day to get better and better and better each day is a big thing for me.
I would say the same, just getting better every day. And then one major thing is just seeing the game just happen a lot faster, seeing guards pulling, tackles, on the offensive side of the ball, just picking up guys if I need to pick up a block, seeing holes open as they do. Yeah, that's it.
We're going to start down there. Favorite pregame meal and favorite song or artist to listen to get yourself hyped up before, the game starts. Give me 1 second.
I would say my favorite pregame meal is definitely Waldo's chicken. I love Waldo's.
I don't even think we've had that as a pregame meal, so I think he's trying to tell me something.
We had it once. I would remember. And I'd just say my favorite artist is Tyler Childers. I don't listen to it as much to get hyped for a game because it's country, obviously. Yeah, that's it.
For me, I like fried chicken. Or not fried chicken, fried rice is what I'm looking for. Fried rice, just before pregame. Gets good carbs in there and just good to eat. Favorite artist, probably go with Jordan Davis, country. Like you said, not before game, but yeah.
For me, pregame meal, I like tacos. I think tacos are great. I don't really listen to music before the game. I kind of just like to sit and think and lock in, so I don't really listen to music before the game.
Yeah, my favorite pregame meal is Freddy's. I get that number 5, double side with the bacon. But yeah, that hits different for a game. And then for my favorite artist, Benson Boone. Yes, he's my guy. And then maybe not before a game, but man, when it's playing on the loudspeakers when I'm warming up, dude, I'm in the zone. That stuff's nice. Yeah. So here we go.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I feel like pregame music for me doesn't really exist. We got a lot going on we're finalizing stuff with the coaching staff. When we go out onto the field, I don't even know what's playing from the speakers. It's just locked in mode. Pre-game meal for me though, one time last year we ate at Texas Roadhouse, so I'll never say no to that. Can't go wrong there.
All right, last one I got, and we'll start back here, Titus, again, sort of the players. Was that one or maybe two games? I know you guys weren't with the program last year, but maybe just some things that you've talked about with your teammates or whatever. Is there that one or two games that you're really looking forward to this season?
Really, one game I'm looking forward to is the state championship. So there we go. Yeah, that's our goal.
For me, this season, this off season, we played 7-on-7 and stuff. And Bearden is a team that we just kind of got along with, and we just kind of back and forth, chat back and forth. It's always fun to play them. So I'm looking forward to Bearden.
For me personally, it's Episcopal. It's a good competitive game every single year, and I mean, there's a trophy to it with the Cantrell Cup, so always a good game.
I'll also say Episcopal. It's always just a very competitive game. Definitely one you don't want to miss. Week 10. Also, Bearden. We just have very good vibes. Love those Bearden guys.
Forgive my ignorance. Is it the battle at Cantrell with Episcopal?
Cantrell Cup.
Cantrell Cup.
Yes,
Okay, I knew it was
Cantrell
something
Cup.
along those
Yes.
lines. Okay,
Yes,
cool
that's
deal.
right.
Well, guys, really appreciate y'all coming again. Riley, you've been great to us for 3 years, and good luck to you guys. I know you got a lot of excitement for this year coming up.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate y'all.
Thank y'all.
All right, up next we've got the Monticello Billies. They're led by head coach Randy Harvey. And Coach, I'll pass it over to you to give your opening statement and introduce who you brought with you.
Yes, sir. We appreciate y'all having us here. First I'd like to thank the Lord for having me to be the head coach at Monticello. I got a great group of guys and for the opportunity to coach these young men. As a coach, the couple of the most satisfying things that I get to do as a head coach is getting young men from all walks of life to come together for one common goal, and these guys do a great job of that, of being selfless, and doing their jobs over and over, and being great young men. And then seeing these young men grow and mature into the young men from a sophomore to where they are now. So that is a privilege to be able to get to do. Our motto, our team motto is be the best. These guys, they're coached and they're taught to be the best in the classroom, on the field, in their community, in their church, anywhere that they go, is try to be the best thing that they can be. And they do that very well. I mean, all of these guys make very good grades. All our football team, I think we only had one guy, below a 2-point on our whole football team out of 60 guys this year. So, as a coach, it's a privilege to get to coach young men who see the bigger picture in all of this. The thing we want to do, or we teach these guys, is to learn to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations, or be uncomfortable, or learn to get through that on a daily basis. These guys, as a football team, we started 1-4 last year, overcame a lot of adversity, played some really good football teams early too, and that was a big part of it. Then moved on and went to the quarterfinals this year. Really 2 years in a row, we've been beat out in the quarterfinals and looking to move forward. So that shows these guys have perseverance. They have what it takes to be good young men. And who I have today, just starting over here, I have Jackson Rawls. He's our tight end. I have Joseph Aculis. He's our running back. Aiden Franklin, defensive tackle. And I have Lucas Colwell. He's moving from tackle and going to guard for us this year. All great young men, high character, and they work very, very, very hard.
Coach, you talked about that 1-4 start. That's going to be how I started out. I think that one lesson from you guys' team last year is don't give up too soon, especially after a tough non-con or whatever. One of those wins, those playoff wins included, y'all were, the second 4A8 team in a row to go to grab it, that 5-hour trip, whatever it was, and get a win. So just talk about the message that you were giving to your guys after that rough start, and then really about mid-season got it going.
Well, I think we talked about early on, I talked to them about, I think it was Arkadelphia several years ago, went 0-5, started out the year, and then I think they won state championship game. We talked a little bit about that, plus hard conference that we have, with Stuttgart, Hamburg, Warren, all those guys, man, they are very, very tough football. West Helena, you saw that, 4 of our teams won a playoff game. Helena got beat on the last play, I believe, against Mills in the first round of the playoffs. So it could have very easily been 5 teams from our conference win a first-round playoff game. So, that was a big part of it in that, just the tough conference that we have.
You talk about that conference, that 8-4A. It's got a lot of offense in it. What can you say about that conference and then the offense of the Monticello Billies this season?
Well, this year I would put our offense, even last year, I would put our offense with anybody. With the guys we have up here, 3 of these guys are, offensive players. Jack's a big part of what we do on the edge. Had over, 43 catches. And this guy sitting right here had, 2,300 yards. And, Jack's was our biggest threat. We didn't have that one just fast guy, deep threat, and we were able still, with our offensive line we had, able for this guy to rush for 2,300 yards. Just think if we had that guy on the edge to go over the top. But like I said, defensively, you talked about offense in this conference. I think defensively, we've got a lot of returning starters. I think 7, I believe it is, on our defense, and think we can, like I said, Stuttgart, Warren, Hamburg, very, very potent on offense, and basically just got to try to slow them down a little bit.
And for the players, Jackson, we'll start with you and go down. So, I asked Coach Harvey about, what was the message after a tough start, and, the staff can only do so much. We hear all the time the best teams are player-led, and I know none of you guys were obviously seniors then, but very heavy contributors. So what was some of the message that you were saying to your teammates and kind of just making you believe within yourself?
Really, honestly, it was just keeping everybody together and not letting anybody get too down because, everything we wanted to do was still possible, even with starting 1-4. I mean, it was really just about making sure everybody kept that belief that we could still do what we wanted to do, and it ended up, working out. We didn't make it as far as we ended up wanting to, but third round after starting off 1-4, isn't the worst.
I'll probably say we kept the courage between the team, stayed bonded, and we just kept the message to be the best, and eventually it paid off.
As a defense, we was just taught to play harder, fast, and keep going because eventually somebody got to wear down, and we wore them down before they wore us down.
Yeah, I know our motto on the offensive line was just to dominate, and that's what our goal was the whole way through. And if we could dominate somebody, we had a good chance of beating them, especially with our running back.
And Coach, so Hamburg was here yesterday, and Coach Johnson was talking about, he's a defensive-minded guy, talking about just playing and I don't mean to keep harping on last year, but just trying to defend against those offenses and stuff. So talk about that, those weekly meetings with your staff. It's like, oh, we had this hard game. Well, we all know there's no nights off in the 4AA.
And right, this is 32 years for me, so that's why I came up a defense coordinator. Used to, you had to work on one thing, basically. Offenses, they were pro-I, they were wing T, they were this or there. Now offenses are so multiple, you have to have more things in your toolbox as a defensive coach in the high school game. Used to, you could get in one coverage, a couple different fronts, a couple blitzes, and just play. And now you've got to mix all that up. You've got to have, like I said, a big toolbox to be able to defend what they do, because people are running personnel packages. They'll be in 4 wide, then the next play they're bringing in 2 sniffer backs and pounding the ball right at you, or sometimes 3. So you got to be prepared. From a high school standpoint, it's a little bit more difficult to defend these offenses.
Had a Monticello coach tell me one time that there's 3 things Billy's learned: is fires, hot waters, wet, and beat Warren. Obviously, that's a very big game from the players. What can y'all say about the Warren-Monticello rivalry?
Obviously, it means a lot. We haven't beat them the last 2 years, but I'm pretty confident in saying that we feel really good about our odds this year.
I would say the same. I honestly don't think it'll be a game. I think we'll walk in the park and win for the first time that I've been a Billy.
Really, it means a lot to me or defense because we haven't seen that trophy in our foundation in years. So I feel like we should bring it back.
Yeah, it's just it's a big game for all of us. I know the locker room gets it's another level of hype whenever we play Warren that week. So it's just another level of game.
JoJo and Jackson, I know y'all are y'all committed to play anywhere? Okay, I wasn't sure, but so you got 2 D1 athletes right here. We hear about, and look, I want to make sure and give Warren their due credit for all that they've sent to college and the NFL over the past years. But South Arkansas athletes tend to get overlooked here and there. And then you guys, you got your D1 athletes, and Nikel Lewis is at Austin P, another D1. So we'll start on this side now, just from the players. How much does that give you a little bit of a chip on your shoulder? You see all these guys from Central Arkansas or Northwest, but there's some talent down in South Arkansas too.
Yeah, we got good players on our team. I think we just it really just makes me just want to get better. I've seen what all they can do, and it kind of pushes me to do better myself.
I feel like, honestly, as a D1 athlete, you should match the players around you and give off just a good vibe to your teammates and just show them how to do certain things right and just keep going.
And just saying real quick, Boogie, I call him Boogie. He's got multiple D1 offers himself. He's just hadn't committed yet. So he's got some things coming the next week, hopefully, that he'll make a commitment to one of those as well.
I honestly think it gives you another drive in the mind, make you work harder by yourself, and brings the team together. And when you see more people do it, then everybody else on the team wants to do it as well.
I kind of enjoy getting to see all those guys. It's a lot easier for them. I don't feel like they really have to work as hard for theirs because they're already on college radars, and makes us work a little bit harder, and just just makes you work a little bit more.
And Coach, obviously these are 4 of your top guys right here, and you said you got 7 returning on defense, some on offense as well. Who are some that we should watch for that aren't here today?
On the offensive side of the ball, I think our offensive line. We lost 4 guys. Lucas is the only returning starter on our offensive line, but our young guys got a lot of good work in JV games last year. Got a lot of good winter work and summer work. And I think those four guys definitely, you know, our quarterback, Hudson Harvey, did a great job, got to play a little bit last year on that side of the ball, and I think it's going to be very, very big for us this coming year. You know, on the defensive side, you know, of course, Boogie's a big part of what we do. Our linebackers, I think, are going to be a big part of what we do with Luke Facuri and Charles Kilgore. Ed Ramos was a big player for us last year as well. Secondary, we had, it was a sophomore last year, played for us, was TK Hoover. I would say he's probably one of the best tacklers on our football team from that position. Terrion Stewart will be a senior, so he will be a big part of what we do on that side of the ball. We're, you know, again, back on offense, we're looking for those receivers to stand out, and I think two that will do that for us this year to help out with these guys is Danner Lloyd and Jude Park. So, you know, I think big things to come for the Billies this year, but these guys, they know it doesn't just happen just because we say it is or we want it to. You know, there's going to be a lot of work having to be put into it for us to get to where we want to be.
All right, guys, starting from left all the way to right for the players. Favorite pregame meal, and what is an artist or a song that you listen to get yourself hyped up for game days?
Favorite pregame meal, I'd probably say whenever we get the bank to come feed us steak. That's probably mine. And favorite artist, I'd say probably I really enjoy whenever we turn on YoungBoy.
I have to agree on the steak part. I agree with the YoungBoy, and I'll also go Drake. Got to get the Drake in there on a game day.
I like when they go to Cash Savers and it's just made with the chicken tenders and macaroni. That's my favorite pregame. I don't necessarily listen to them before a game. I'd rather watch film.
Probably a little dominant in the rough, but the chicken spaghetti that they provide for us is really good. And then I'm with them. I like the YoungBoy in the locker room.
I stick with no music at all before I go because I don't even know who these guys are they're talking about, to be honest. Pre-game meal is like, I'm with Boogie. Chicken strips and the mac and cheese. I think that's probably the biggest ones they like.
All right, guys, as we wrap up here, I was just going to ask our $1 million question here that we ask everybody. Jackson, we'll start back down with you. What's that one or two games that you feel like maybe slipped away from you or you left some meat on the bone that you're ready to play again this year?
Last year, I feel like Stuttgart, we had a lot of turnovers. They were a great team, but I feel like if we didn't have the turnovers that we had, it would have been a whole different ball game. And Hamburg, I feel like Hamburg is going to be a lot different outcome this year.
Stuttgart, I'd like to play them again, which I think it would be a real good game as if the last 2 years we played them. You take away the turnovers, it's a much closer game, and I honestly think we're a better team. And I'll go with Hamburg. Statement game, Fort Warren, go ahead, do what we got to do.
I say Warren, the lingo was very different when we played them, and towards the end of the game, it was just so many different reads being thrown at me, which I read right, but it's just the wrong time. And I say Hamburg, that'll be a good game too.
I'm with Boogie. I think Warren for sure. They beat us kind of late in the game last year. I think we got a good chance this year. And then probably Stuttgart. If we didn't have all the turnovers, we'd be neck and neck with them, I feel like.
All right, well, fellas, really appreciate you coming back up. I know it's a long haul, but always enjoy having you. Good luck this season.
Cheerios.
Appreciate you.
right, up next we've got the Prescott Curly Wolves. They're led by head coach Brian Glass. And Coach, I will pass it over to you to introduce who you brought with you and give your opening statement.
Yes, sir. We brought 4 seniors with us. We've got Owen Glass right here, Brian Woodley, Blaine McCamey, and Rhett Cornish. Just a quick summary of last year. You know, we were a little bit inexperienced. We had 0 starters coming back on defense last year, and it ended up showing for the first time in 12 years we didn't win 10 or more games, so we went 7-4. A little bit disappointing season. We did get better and play well in the first round of playoffs, losing to Atkins. But this year's a different season, and we've got a lot of experience back with about 15 starters, maybe even a couple more than that started a game or two. And, you know, the expectations are always high at Prescott, and, you know, we're going to do the best we can do to work hard and see how good this team can get, and hopefully have a chance to get our conference title back and, you know, be ready to play football in November.
On that note, I'm going to start with the last play over here to the left, and everybody can answer this question, but, you know, seeing as how you guys have had so much success over the years, and then to have a down year like you did last year with 7 wins, you know, what did that teach you about your team, and what were some of the things that, you know, you guys had issues with that, you know, you want to correct this season?
You know, it really just showed me how, like, everything ain't going to be, like, sunshine and rainbows. Like, it's not always going to be good. You're going to have, like, stuff's going to happen that's not very good, and you just got to fight through that and get better this year and just show everybody what we can do.
Kind of to piggyback off what he said, you know, grow up in Prescott, always winning. But this year showed you can lose, but you can build it back up, though.
We always have good seasons usually. Last year wasn't the best one. A lot of people just think we're going to show up, be good, but we got to practice, put in the work in.
Yeah, like they said, it's just Prescott, we've always had this big tradition of winning. And it just shows that we can lose and that things can happen. And it's just adversity that we're going to overcome and we're going to come back with and fight harder next year.
Coach, you said this time last year coming into the season with 0 returning starters on defense. You got 8 coming back now. So I know those years are tough. You've been through a lot of whether it was an assistant or a head coach, but you know, it's not, like you said, your first rodeo, but now that you do have 8 coming back, the majority of them, I know that makes y'all feel a lot better about it.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we're able to do things right now that we may not even got to last year at the end of the season. Very good football IQ this year. This senior group has always been a smart group for us. And, you know, they went undefeated in 7th grade and 9th grade football. And, you know, last year, it humbled them a little bit. And we've tried to be more accountable this summer, make sure we have great attendance, and the senior class has set a great example. We've just had outstanding attendance this summer. We've won 2 7-on-7 tournaments and won our division of our 7-on-7 league, so we're playing for the championship in that next week. And also our JV won their side of the division over there, and they'll play for the championship as well next week. So, you know, it's been a productive summer, but these guys know it's not going to be handed to them. They're going to have to work for it. We got a lot of tough teams on our schedule, and you know, we're really focusing on us right now. We're just really working on the details and all the way down to how your locker's supposed to look. And you know, these guys have got a good brotherhood going. Last year, even though wins and losses wasn't what you wanted it to be, you know, with 7-4 record, we did improve our brotherhood last year. I thought the guys really had each other's back, and I think that's continuing. It's a close-knit group. Sometimes they're almost too close because you know how brothers are. They'll fight with each other and tell them how it is a little bit too quick sometimes. So we just, you know, try to keep them positive, let the coaches give the negative feedback. But they've had a great summer so far.
So a conference you're very familiar with, can you talk a little bit about the conference and what it looks like in your eyes this year?
Well, you know, Bismarck's won it the last 2 years. Last year they were hands down the best team in the conference. You know, pretty much I think they mercy ruled everybody in the conference. it did take them a long time to mercy rule us, so we hung in there a while. Smackover was a 2 seed last year, and very talented. They lost some key guys, and but they're still going to be talented. They're usually athletic every year. I know they got most of their linemen back, and then we feel like we're going to be right there in that top 3 battling. We would love to get that championship back. It's bothering all of us not to have it for the last 2 years, but it's going to be tough. Bismarck's going to be a very, very good football team again. And then you got Camden Harmony Grove. They're always talented. Their junior high was real good last year. Gave us our closest game in junior high, and Center Point can be tough at times, and it's a tough conference. And then in our non-conference, we open with Hope, I think they've got 9 starters back on defense, and then we've got go to Ashdown, and then Fordyce comes to our place for that 3rd date in week 3. So that's an exciting game there.
I want to touch on that Fordyce. I certainly want to give respect to your first 2 opponents as well, but Fordyce, Prescott, those are 2 of the premier 3A teams for a while. And you and Coach Rogers are kind of anomalies in the sense that, like, you've been at, you're at your alma mater, but being at one place for a very extended time, for decades, really. So, playing that matchup, that's going to really tell you where you are right before conference play.
Yeah, Coach Rogers and I are good friends. We talk a lot, and we like to get together and play, when we think it's going to be a good matchup, and both of us thought it would be for the next 2 years. And, those guys are always tough, physical, and, I don't know how it's going to go, but I do know it'll be a physical game. It's going to be 2 teams that'll get after it on defense. And, they've got their big quarterback. He's just a junior, in his 3rd year of starting. And even with he's had some injuries to that knee, he's still he's a formidable guy back there. And then they've got a couple of Division I prospects. So that's definitely going to be a kind of a measuring stick for where we stand in 3A, before the conference season gets going. So that's definitely going to be a fun game.
And for the players, we'll start down here this time. Just looking at last season, and then once it ended, just talk about some things that you looked within yourself. They're like, okay, I need to work on this and really focus throughout the offseason on this particular thing, or multiple things.
Just keeping my not teammates in check, but like making myself better throughout the offseason, not jumping on guys that little bitty mistakes. That's not my place, but building my teammates up, helping them get better as well with myself. And yeah,
people got a lot of opinions about Prescott. Last year didn't go too good. I just want to build my teammates up, like he said, have a good season. The summer looked real good. The team camp's been looking good. My skill guys been looking real good in 7-on-7.
After going back and looking at the games and everything, I feel like I could be a better leader. And like when we go down in some games, to keep my head up and keep pushing, cause can always turn our game around. But man, the leadership, but Beatles and leadership and keeping my head in the game.
Yeah, basically what he said, just being a leader for the team, making sure everybody's in check without, like jumping on them, just making sure they know like what they did was wrong. I mean, in my place, not really a coach's place. And I don't know, I just want to make sure everybody knows what's happening.
And Coach, talking about some of your other players, I see Desmond Prater here. I'm assuming that's Dakari's brother?
Yes,
okay,
it is.
I figured probably some relation there, but I've heard a lot of good things about him. Extremely, young but extremely talented. And so just talk about some of the other guys that you might not have here today to watch.
Yeah, quarterback. We've got Dakari's little brother Dez, and he's so far this summer we're 16-2 in 7-on-7 with a sophomore quarterback. So he's doing well to say the least. And his legs are some of his strongest part of his game, so he hadn't even been able to show that yet. Rhett over here is our backup quarterback, and he's a senior. He's a guy that understands how it is if you make a bad throw or something. He's always patting Dez on the back and keeping his head up. But he's a super leader. These seniors have really gotten behind him, and it'll be his offense. He's got one of the best demeanors for the quarterback position of any young guy I've seen at that position and at that age. He's very mature. He's a bounce back. If he makes a mistake, man, he's ready for the next play. And, you know, that's what we need in that spot. Running back, we've got Caden Gleason's he scored 6 touchdowns, I think, last year. He's one of our best returners. Also, we got a big tailback, Tyden McKillian. He's a 6'1", 200-pounder that set out all of last year with an Achilles injury, and he's back full speed. That's going to be a big boost for our offense. He's a good one. Owen, he starts at flanker. He led us in catches last year. Rhett's in the other slot. We've got Talon Helmick at wide receiver. Also, one of our best receivers is Wes Cornelius. He's a big target, 6'2.5", about 190-pounder. He can play tight end as well. Offensive line, we've got about 8 guys that can play. We've got Broden Richardson right now starting at center. His backup is Jonathan Buck. Both those guys can get it done there. We've got Amaj Page playing the left guard. He's a sophomore. Played some last year when he moved up in the playoffs. Our strongest guy, Parker Craig's at left tackle. He's benching 365, set our squat record at 525. You know, and he's just a junior. He's a really strong guy, weighs about 250. We've got Julian Stafford. That's another big junior he's pretty much backing up all of them. Jake Fricks is back at right guard, big kid. He's gotten a lot more physical this year. And then over at right tackle, one of our most athletic linemen is Will Avery. And he's kind of long and lean, doesn't really look like a lineman, looks more like a defensive end, but his ball get-off's great. He knows what we're doing. He does a real good job for us. We've got Chris Walker that could play a little bit there. And who am I missing, Coach? Anybody? The offensive line. We got some offensive linemen that we feel really good about. I think I've touched on most of them there. Defensively, we've got our front 4 back. These are 2 of them. Brian Woodley at defensive end, his cousin, Jerian Zachary, at the other end. Both those guys had, Jerian had 13 tackles for losses, 5 sacks. Brian had 12 tackles for losses and 6 sacks last year. We've got McCamey here back on the inside with Rodquez McKinney. So we got that front 4 back. Our Mike linebacker's back, Alex Munoz. And then on the back end, Owen is back at safety where Prater's going to join him. Also, Braylon Coulter will rep back there. And then we got Keemon Benton at a corner. He's a returning starter. And then Trey Evans, one of our most athletic players all around, is starting at corner. He can also play outside backer. The 2 outside backers right now looks like it's going to be Gleason and Curtis Stockton at one of them, and then the other one, Andrew Willingham, has kind of stepped up right there. Those were our 2 question marks at position-wise that we didn't have returning.
No notes. That is. No, I know you know your team, but that's very impressive. Love it there. All right. Yeah, Josh. No.
All right, starting from left to right, favorite pregame meal and favorite artist or song you listen to get you hyped up on game days. Give me 1 second. All right, go ahead.
My favorite pregame meal is probably when we go, I don't know, I guess probably just some chicken spaghetti. And the players I listen to Montana 700 4 games.
My favorite pregame meal when we had a hamburger steak, mashed potatoes and stuff. And my favorite pregame song it's kind of weird, but it's Hometown Glory by Adele.
My favorite meal is probably just one of the church meals. I'm not too sure which one, but my favorite song is probably Bubbly before a game. Forgot the artist, but turns me up.
Oh, my favorite pregame meal is probably chicken and waffles, and then just favorite song before game, just anything country, kind of keep it calm.
Coach, what about you? Pregame meal, song, artist you like listening to?
Pre-game meal, I love at all our home games we eat at the local churches, and we used to do chicken spaghetti only, kind of that's what we wanted, but I've turned them loose and let them cook whatever they want, so we get whatever, and I love it there. We've got some people in the town that can definitely cook. Pre-game, my favorite one is kind of like Brian, or a little bit weird. Chandelier by Sia. I love that one. That gets me going. We always play it, and those guys all shake their head, but Coach Wood and I like it, so.
All right, fellas, great job. Really appreciate you coming back, and good luck this season.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Up next, we got the Dumas Bobcats. They're led by Sharodrick. Excuse me, sorry about that. Sharodrick Smith, and I will go ahead and pass it over to you, Coach, to introduce who you brought with you and give your opening statement.
All right. First and foremost, I'd like to give thanks to God who's ahead of my life, man. I just want to say thank you to you all for inviting us to this great event that you have. It's a first for me as a head coach, first for my players as well. So we just want to say thank you. Start from my right to my left. I got senior wide receiver Kamarian Jackson. I have junior running back Kent Brown. I got junior defensive lineman Carmelo Burgess. And I have Chasen Gordon, who's a sophomore this year.
All right, well, you're obviously very familiar with this team, previously being on staff, coaching junior high, all those good things. But
Yes, sir.
Just talk about taking over the senior high team. Got a lot of good athletes, I know, on this squad. So just talk about your excitement there.
It's definitely very exciting. Just like you said, to have these guys for the last few years, it wasn't a lot of change that needed to be made. I give a lot of credit to Coach Lovelady, man. He definitely set a great foundation for these guys, and for me to come in as an aspiring head coach, I was able to learn so much from him in my short time with him in those 2 years. So I already knew kind of what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be. So just kind of coming in and, being guided by his leadership, it actually made this job a lot easier for me. He definitely gave me the reins for that junior high program. He allowed me to be myself. He allowed me to coach these guys the way that I wanted to coach them. And like you said, the record speaks for itself. I tell them all the time, man, as long as we keep winning, I can handle the rest. We've been blessed with a great group of kids that's been showing up, putting in the work. And like I said, I'm just the guy that's been able to benefit from that.
And building off that to the players, we'll start down here at the end and work our way down. Just obviously, as he was talking about, very familiar with them, worked with them in junior high, but just taking over the senior high team and continuing on with them. Just talk about your excitement for that.
I'm very excited. I haven't got the chance to play for Coach Roger Smith yet because when he was coaching, I was a freshman.
Sophomore.
And I was a sophomore, and he was in junior high, so I haven't got the chance to play with him yet. But as we went in spring ball, I seen the type of coach he was and what he wanted to be, and I'm really excited for that.
I was very excited. I played with Coach Rod my freshman year. We had a great year. Coach Rod, he's a great person, and he's a great coach. He always puts players in the best position to be successful. So I feel like it was a great hire, and I was very excited to hear about it.
I personally am very excited to have him as my head coach because the way he coaches pushes us over the limit that we usually are used to, and I love that about him. And that's why I'm excited for this year.
I'm very excited to have Coach Rod as a coach. Like you said, I had him in junior high, great coach, but an even better person.
Coach, just kind of talk about this year in general, coming off another playoff appearance and all that.
Right.
So I know you got 4 of your top dogs here with you today, but who are some of the others we should watch out for?
Like you said, coming off a great 2 years, being in the playoffs is something that we definitely want to get back to. But like I tell them guys, we've been good the last few years, but good just ain't good enough for me. So we want to definitely take that next step. We don't only want to make it to the playoffs, we want to host a playoff game. In order to do that, you got to finish in the top of the conference. So that's one of the goals that we have set for this team. As far as players, like you said, definitely 4 of the top guys here. But, man, I say it all the time, man, we are loaded. My quarterback situation, that's still up for grabs. It's a great competition going there between Kyle Young and Toriando Dunlap. Tori was my quarterback last year for junior high, moving up as a sophomore. Kyle was an all-conference quarterback last year, 2,000 yards, 24 touchdowns as a sophomore, so he'll be a junior this year. So we have a great competition going on with that. Even in the wide receiver room, Javis Holt, another senior that we haven't seen a lot of, that's been making plays all spring, all summer. Offensive line-wise, yeah, we did lose 3 of those guys, but I brought up 3 guys, like you said, that played for me in junior high. So they already accustomed to the way I run things. They're accustomed to my terminology. Dallas Paquin, Ura Gutierrez, Noah Catchings. He's a returning starter for us at left guard. He's the anchor. And then, like I say, the most important player on my team is the center. That's Brayden Dawes. That's Big Boom, we call him. That's my boy right there. But like I say, man, we got a great offensive line coming back as well as a great offensive line coach. Our offensive line coach is Coach Wallace Smith. He comes from Hamburg. You're familiar with Hamburg last year. I believe they led the state in rushing yards. Nikel Lewis had, tied the record with 53 rushing touchdowns. So just being able to add him to the staff and have his knowledge and, his expertise with that offensive line has been a great help for us as well. On the defensive side of the ball, like I said, I tell this guy all the time, he could be the best player in the state, and I don't say that lightly. I'm not talking about in 3A. I'm not talking about in South Arkansas. I'm talking about in the state of Arkansas. He has that type of ability, but we just got to get him to do that every single play. And like you said, I'm pushing these guys more than they've ever been pushed before. Even though we had that bar set, I'm setting it even that much higher because I expect greatness out of these guys because I know that they can achieve it. He's the anchor of the defense, I believe. Kent Brown is another guy that I'm going to call on a lot to lead us on the defensive side of the ball. He will be playing middle linebacker this year, taking that transition from safety to middle linebacker. As we all know, he's making all the calls. He the one got to make us right. He the one got to go out there and make the plays. And like I said, it's his job to free him up so he can go do what he does. Also at linebacker, Cabron King, a senior leader that we have on this team. He's a vocal leader. He leads in the weight room. Like I say, he leads by example. I tell my guys, man, you can't win on the field unless you win off the field. That's classroom, that's at the house, that's wherever you are, even in the hallways. With everything you do, you have to win. And we got a statement we say, we want to win today. And Cabron King is one of those guys, he's going to win Monday, he's going to win Tuesday, he's going to win Wednesday, he's going to win Thursday. So how can we lose on Friday with that type of leadership? And like I said, he leads by example. Those guys can follow along with him. Like I said, he's had a great summer, transitioning him to that linebacker spot as well. On the defensive line, Davion Holmes, he's a sophomore. He was our leader for us last year with the junior high. Played running back and defensive line for me in junior high. This year, taking more of a role on that defensive line. Also, Terrence Loudermilk. Excited to have him back on the Dumas football team. Last year, he did not play, but this year, he's back. He's going to be a senior. I tell him all the time, in junior high, when I was coaching against Dumas, I was at Lake Village. Terrence Loudermilk was the best player on the field. And I told my guys, hey, we got to stop number 5. Somebody got to block him and somebody got to hit him. So very excited to have him back on the team. Like I said, that's on that defensive line. Cabron King and Cabron King and Kent Brown at linebacker. And then the secondary, these 2 guys right here, they're going to have to make the plays for us. They're going to have to make the plays for us. I got Ray Ray Corey. His name, Raquan Corey at Rover. And then I also have Braylon Jones that's going to play a bigger role this year for us on the defensive side of the ball at that other defensive line spot. And like I said, man, we got a great bunch of young guys. That sophomore group with Chase and Gore, man, it's probably 15 of those guys that you'll see this year that you'll hear their names being called. And I'm just excited for them to get this experience, man. Like I told them, man, it's going to be a great ride. And I tell them they better get ready to buckle up, man, because it's going to be a long ride, but it's going to be a great ride as well. So like I said, man, we got a lot of experience in certain spots. We are young in some spots, but the key to this is that everyone that's coming on with me, they're used to winning. All right, so when you have that winning mindset, they already know what it takes to win because they haven't experienced losing. Even these guys, they've been to the playoffs the last 2 years. I mean, that's good. Everybody don't make the playoffs, you know. So I'm excited for them guys to be able to take that next step. And for myself, as a first-year head coach at my hometown in Dumas, I couldn't be more excited about this group. And, man, like I said, I got 4 monsters up here with me, but I got 10 more. I got 10 more for sure.
But staying on the subject of players here, we'll start here now. What are some things that, you know, y'all looked at the season as a whole and then you're like, okay, this is what I need to focus on throughout the offseason?
During the offseason, we focus on getting better, getting stronger. But like you said, as a person, we got to be there too.
I would like to say that we need to. Actually, I don't know how to say.
Man, what's the number one thing we say for the offseason? My number one job is to do what?
Stay healthy.
Stay healthy. Go ahead, Kenzie. Anything else?
With me, I really focus on being a better vocal leader this year. You know, me being a junior and a lot of young guys, I got to be that extra coach, you know, being that vocal leader, getting my guys right. So that's really what I've been focusing on this summer.
Just to piggyback off what Ken said, me being a senior, I got to be more vocal and lead by example.
All right, guys, we're going to keep it down there. Favorite pregame meal? I want to hear from all the guys, coach you included. Favorite pregame meal and favorite pregame song that gets you hyped on game day or artists. So,
Go ahead, Keith.
I don't have a favorite pregame meal, but my favorite pregame song would probably be "Get Back" by YTB Fed.
Favorite pregame meal? Gotta go KI. My granny owns KI in Dumas, Arkansas. It's a barbecue place. And when we get wings, fries, when we get that, I know I'm going to have a great game.
I need to talk to you afterwards.
Yes,
about
sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Favorite artist? My favorite is Lil Papa. Rest in peace, Lil Papa. Every time I turn him on, he's like, get me in that mind, you know, that mindset. I got to go, got to win, got to do it.
Go ahead, Melo.
I say favorite pregame will had to be Sonic, $7 big deal. But for my song, it has to be Mama Raised a Soldier by XXXTentacion.
Let's go, Mr. Gordon.
On a pregame meal, I don't really like to eat too heavy before a game because I don't want it to be heavy on my stomach. But favorite pregame song, probably something by Chief Keef's Young Boy. You know, Give Me the Mode.
I first want to say I do not buy that for them for pregame. So I don't know where the Sonic and all that come from, the wings and fries. They will not be eating that before games this year. But favorite pregame meal, probably have to go baked chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans. You know, you can't go wrong with that. Favorite song, honestly, they always on my choice of music. I'm more of a blues, R&B kind of guy. So, you know, that Chief Keef and YTB Fat and all that, that's cool for them, but that ain't my style. I wouldn't say I have a favorite song, but if I did have to say one, it'd probably be myself. I did do music myself, and I got a song called We Up, so that'd probably be my favorite pregame song.
All right, guys, wrapping up here. What's that 1 or 2 games? And I guess we'll start here this time. What's that 1 or 2 games that you're looking forward to? Maybe left a little bit of meat on the bone last year, or maybe just kind of slipped up. What are you looking forward, or who are you looking forward to playing this year?
We don't focus on no game specifically. We prepare for everybody the same, but one game we are ready for is the state championship game.
December the 12th, 7:30.
Me personally, specifically, I don't have no game circle. I'm going to go through every Monday through Thursday with the same mindset, with the same energy, ready to win, no matter who we got to face that Friday.
Just to piggyback off what Chase said, we don't have no game circle, but we are ready for that state championship game.
Guys, really appreciate it. Great job. Thank y'all for coming, and good luck to you this season.
Yes, sir.
Sir, you too. Thank you for having us.
Hey, thank y'all.
Arkansas Select Volleyball Club focuses on personal and athletic development of our student athletes and creates a safe, positive, and effective learning environment in which student athletes strive to achieve individual excellence within a team dynamic. We view the volleyball court as our classroom, transformed to teach lessons of character, discipline, respect, responsibility, accountability, commitment, leadership, work ethic, teamwork, courage, integrity, communication, the importance of sacrifice and sportsmanship, plus many other important values on and off the court. Search Arkansas Select Volleyball online or visit our Facebook page, Arkansas Select Volleyball, to find out more.
All right, up next we got the Bismarck Lions. They're led by head coach DJ Keithley. And Coach, I will pass it over to you to give your opening statement and introduce who you brought with you.
Name's DJ Keithley, head coach of the Bismarck Lions. I've got Ethan Keithley, Matthias Martinez, Levi Martinez, and Clayton Martinez. We wanted to make it easy and only make sure we brought 2 last names in this one. But we're excited about being here. Looking forward to what y'all got going on here with Big Miller Days.
For sure. Well, obviously, the last 3 seasons have been some of the best, I would say, probably in school history for Bismarck. You know, going to state in 2024, having another deep run last year. So just kind of talk about, I mean, at one point you were trying to get the program to that level. Now it's really being sustained. So just talk about how that's going.
You know, it's been great. You know, exactly like we expected. You know, last year it was a disappointing season. We thought we were pretty good, especially coming off of a championship game. And we knew we had some unfinished business. And unfortunately, Mansfield was just really, really good. We saw them at the beginning of the season last year as our opening game. Thought we had a field goal away from beating them there. Took it to overtime, and they pulled it out. And we really thought going in that second time when we get them in the third round of the playoffs, that we had a shot. And you know, they hit us in the mouth, and it was a little bit disappointing on our end. But you know, hopefully with these guys, it just gave them a little bit more hungry about what's going to come up this year. I think we got a solid team coming back this year. Quarterbacks are going to be returning. He's already a dangerous rusher, you know, with his legs. I think this year, with him being the QB1, stepping in day one, going through all of summer with 7-on-7 and whatnot as the QB1, getting all the reps this year, I think he's going to be that much better as a passer. I'm looking forward. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to rush for 1,000 and pass for 1,000. You know, we lost Cademan last year, who was a large production, but we got a bunch of kids coming back from those skill positions that I think are really going to help us to get over that edge. We want to get back to that state championship game, and we're just looking forward to it.
You mentioned the offense with, you know, Birch at quarterback and such. That's been a point that Bismarck has scored a lot of points in the last 3 years. What do you look to see? Obviously, Martinez is going to run the ball some. What else do you see coming from the Bismarck line offense?
Well, I actually think offensively we're going to be as dangerous or more so than we've ever been. I've got probably one of the most elusive quarterbacks in the state. We're going to put that ball in his hands every play. And this year he's gotten that much better as a passer. Obviously he's going to get better as a runner. We bring back Clayton Martinez, the young man over here to the left. He's a bruiser. He's the one that's going to be dragging kids down the field. We've got some speedy. I got my Z and my H are going to be some speedy guys. We can put them in jet motions. I think offensively, we're still going to be putting up points. We've got to answer some questions on defense, but offensively, I feel really good about what we got coming back.
Definitely want to talk about your conference, but first the non-conference schedule. You don't have Mansfield this year, but you open up against a Nashville team that's. They're going to be pretty PO'd coming off of how last year ended. We had them earlier, expected to have a dynamic offense, but I know that you're known for loading up that non-conference schedule, and it's really kind of set the tone for 3A7 play.
Yeah, I like to have a Mansfield on the schedule, but it's also a real flark. It's a long trip as that first game. But whenever Nashville talked to us about playing them, we knew that was just an hour down the road. We wanted to stack our non-conference. We wanted to have good competition. I felt like our conference play is not quite as it's been in years past, and so we really wanted to challenge ourselves by adding Nashville. Haskell I think is going to be pretty good this year, and then Glen Rose is also going to be a top 10 3A team. So, that was intentional in trying to load that non-conference up.
And we'll start with the players talking about conference. Ethan, we'll go down with you and go down, but Prescott was in here earlier, and for a long time, they just win in that conference every year, and they gave you guys every bit of credit that you deserve as the two-time conference champion. So, now you've had that bull. It's not like you're coming into this year with the bullseye on your back. That's kind of been the case. So, just talk about how you guys embrace that and how you've been a huge part of building the program.
Something I've really just thought about over the past couple years is just expecting to win, and I feel like coming in with that mentality, you get more results out of that as well. Because when you expect to win, you play better, you play up to that level, and we compete harder in practice. We compete harder in games, and there's definitely some pitfalls with that. Some places where you can leave with like egg yolk on your face. But I would say most of all, you come out ready to go, and you come out playing against the Prescott's, the Smackovers, and teams that are really high quality teams. And you come out, successful because you've just planned on it so much.
I forgot the question. What is
just
it?
Basically, now that you guys, I was saying at the beginning, you've worked to get to the point that you have had, 3 straight double-digit win seasons. Now you're kind of the standard of the conference, and so just being able to continue to hold that, and then just now the baton has been passed to you.
Feeling pretty excited about it. Winning a lot. It's been really fun. It's pretty disappointing to lose. Just hoping we can keep on winning more this year.
We weren't the best team at most times, but coming in and winning 2 straight conference titles, and then probably going to go for a third one. It feels pretty good. And then at the end of the last season, we lost to Mansfield, and it was kind of hurtful, gut punch right there, but we may have lost Cademan Keithley, Zane Talbert, Preston Hughes, but even now we still got multiple guys coming back that we think we can do really well with, and probably go win a third.
Yeah, I've been pretty excited. I've been looking forward to this football season since it ended. Just Andrew Burton was the talk for how good he was, and I hope I can be the talk around town for being a bigger, hefty load of a running back. But the big deal is I've been playing a lot like a marshmallow, just been pretty soft, so I'm trying to get that going. But losing the 2-star linebackers we had, it's going to hurt us, but we got Parker Hughes, Ivan Diaz stepping in. There'll be some big help, and the run game should be pretty good as long as I'm running behind this guy and that Martinez down there. Should get a big hole and get some yards going. Pretty excited about this season.
Hey, Coach, I think I asked you this last year, but it's just so impressive. You look at the Hot Springs area, what you guys have done. Hot Springs High, Hot Springs Lakeside went to state in 5A last year. Cutter had a really good turnaround season last year. There's so much good football being played around Hot Springs. And I know you guys are worried about the Bismarck Lions, but I know just citywide with all the success, it's probably pretty cool to be a part of that.
Oh, yeah. tribalism is going to be a thing. We like having, if we're ever playing one of those teams, obviously we want to beat them in the dirt as best we can. But whenever you have a chance to go over there and support one of those guys, that's what we want to do. Glen Rose is one of those teams that we love to beat. Prescott, we love to beat. Anytime we get a chance to beat those guys. But when they're going to another part of the state, we're going to be behind those guys. We want to see them success. I like seeing the fact that Arkadelphia is a perennial powerhouse over in the 4A. It's nice that the Hot Springs and Lakeside has a lot of success, and it's nice to be part of that kind of group or regional area, and for us to be able to now say that we're part of that too, instead of saying that we're one of those cellar dwellers that was years past. So it's been real fun.
And to the players, we'll start down here this time. Just talk about some things that you looked at the end of the season and just evaluated yourself and thought about, hey, I just really need to work on this, and something that you focused on.
Yes, sir. Last year, I kind of just played it by eye, just watched the ball more than my guards as linebackers. So this year, what I really need to work on is watch my guards more. That would for sure help us. That kind of just tells you where it's going. But as the running back, when I get in that traffic, someone wraps me up, usually I like to stop my feet, and I think it's over. I don't really push myself farther. But at the end of this year, I just need to just push myself more, especially in the weight room. Keithley knows I'm in there goofing off, not working out. As long as I work out, should be good.
As a lineman, one of the things I really need to work on, and I've tried to work on, is when we're in that huddle, when we get that scissors call telling us to cut, usually it's just like one of those things of like, if I have to do just enough. But as a lineman, I got to try to get them all the way down instead of just barely hitting them. And then even on my pulls, Coach Keithley knows that there was several times where I would pull and I'd see a linebacker and I'm like, nope, not going to go get him, and I'm going to just keep on going. So those are just a couple of things that I'd like to work on.
I feel like something I struggled with a lot is running upfield. I'd be sitting around bonfires talking to him at night. We talk about this a lot. I just had trouble with like having my eyes where they're not supposed to be, just running upfield, not filling my gap. And I feel like this year I'm working better on that to stay there and do my job.
Last year, I feel like I disappointed myself a lot, just feeling like I could have achieved a lot more, and I didn't play up to the confidence level that I feel like I should have allowed myself to have. And so this year, I'm kind of just trying to right those wrongs and go out there, play hard and play fast, and really work on my like the little things, running good routes every time, being physical on defense, making sure I'm going and seeing all that stuff through, and being the best teammate I can possibly be. That's obviously my biggest thing.
All right, just gonna keep it down there, guys. Favorite pregame meal and favorite artist to listen to, or favorite song that gets you hype on game days. Give me 1 second.
All right, this is the most important question, I feel like. My pregame meal, normally I keep it pretty light because I'll get like a weak stomach before the game. I like peanut butter sandwich, stuff like that. And then like chicken. I like chicken before games. But I try not to listen to a whole lot of rap, just try to keep my mind pretty clear. But every now and then, you got to get hype. I like some Lil Uzi Vert and stuff like that. But then if I'm going outside of the rap world, I really like What a God by Elevation Worship. That's really good.
Pre-game meals, I think my favorite is playoff time. We have the parents and grandparents, they cook like a whole, kind of like a potluck. There's mac and cheese. Yeah, Thanksgiving. Mac and cheese and all that. And I think the mac and cheese is probably my favorite, and chicken. And then music, I don't really listen to music unless it's like playing on the speakers. That's about it.
One of my favorite pregame meals is, like Matthias said, is probably going to be that Thanksgiving meal that we have, because they do make some pretty good food over there. And just like Matthias said, it's that mac and cheese. I don't know what they do to it, but it's some good mac and cheese. But yeah, just like Matthias, I don't really listen to a whole lot of music, but when I do, I'll put my headphones on. I just kind of like flip through a bunch of different songs, but if I had to pick one, it would probably be Running Home by Lost and Found. it's a psalm, and it's one of those good songs that I love to listen to.
My favorite my favorite pregame meal. You know, can never go wrong with the pizza from the Pizza Shack down the road from the school. But I do like some chicken, and you know, to sound like the other two Martinez's, the mac and cheese. It's just I don't know, but I don't really listen to much music before a game. But if I do, it's gonna be some country, probably some '90s, 2000s, probably like I don't know, Alan Jackson, a couple of them, and just. I need to. I mean, I like to listen to Christian, and it'll probably help me get my mind right before a game, but I like to listen to some country.
Coach, what about you? Any music, any pregame meal?
There's not too many meals that I don't like. I'm gonna have to go with these boys on the whole pregame meal. We have an older lady. She's the grandma of one of our former students, and she stays involved, and she makes some of the best macaroni and cheese. So I'm gonna have to stick with that one. As far as pregame meal, music, probably whatever's playing. I don't typically put on music. I'm usually sitting there watching huddle and getting ready for what's going on and trying to figure out what the other team's about to do to us.
All right, fellas, great job. Really appreciate you coming back for the third year in a row we've had y'all. So really appreciate that, and good luck this season.
Thank you.
All right, up next we've got the Hampton Bulldogs, led by head coach Nick Polisi. And Coach, I will go ahead and pass it over to you to give your opening statement and introduce who you brought with you.
Alrighty, first off, thank you guys so much for always hosting an event. First Community, you guys put on a great event. It's awesome to get coverage for our kids down in South Arkansas, and appreciate you having us. To my left, I've got quarterback Kip Rowland. He's a sophomore. Going to have a really bright career for us. Right here to my left is number 60, Michael Parrish. Michael's he was a sophomore last year. He's a returning all-conference lineman. leader on our offensive front. Right here, we've got Trey Lambert. Trey's going to be a senior this year. Last year was a little bit hindered for him. He had a season-ending injury in week 3. We've got big expectations from him, and he's continued to show up and lead every day, and he's going to have a good year. And then to my far right is Artavius Ballard. Artavius is a returning defensive lineman. I'm looking forward for another big year out of him as a senior.
Most definitely. I know that the it goes without saying the season ended a little bit sooner than you guys would have wanted, but I mean, you think of just everything you accomplished. I mean, one of the best seasons in certainly in recent memory for Hampton. So just talk about building on that. I know probably that next step for you winning a conference championship, that next step is to take a little bit more of an advancement in the playoffs. So what's the mindset been throughout the offseason?
Last year coming in, we felt like we were a playoff football team, and the kids continued to buy in and work and work and work. And then by the time we looked up at the end of the year, we were the conference champion in 1 seed, and then it ended abruptly. And it's left a very sour taste in our mouth, which has transferred into our off season. We've had a really good off season. We graduated an incredible group of seniors. Love those kids to death, and proud of them, and appreciate everything they did for the program. And we've got a ton of new faces coming in that understand that the expectation is high. It's not a flash in the pan or a one and done. We're wanting to build something that the community continues to be proud of, and something that our kids are proud of, and continue to just keep building.
So obviously you want to keep building, go back to the playoffs, make a deeper run. But you look at this schedule, some very familiar opponents, but some new opponents. What can you say about this conference that you got put in?
It's a tough conference. It was a tough conference last year. There's not a dog in it. Carlisle's always at the top. They're kind of one of the class of the 2A4. Baptist Prep has got some very athletic kids. Coach Perkins and his staff do an incredible job down there. Bearden's always loaded. Coach Toddy coming in at Hazen. There's no doubt they're going to be ready to roll. Poland's always right there, really good. It's a very good league. I think the biggest challenge with our league this year is how many new faces we have, and I think there's 4 or 5 first-year head coaches or new head coaches to that program, and so a lot of systems are going to be a little bit different. It'll take everybody a few weeks to kind of figure out what everybody's doing offensively and defensively, but a couple change-ups there with the new coaching staffs.
And for the players, we'll start down here. Just you heard Coach talk about the off season and sour taste being left just as far as how last year ended. So what are some things maybe that you've done individually for yourself and also just kind of found within your team as off-season motivation coming into the 26?
Mostly just been working out and stuff on my own and just trying to get myself better. Trying to get faster and work on my legs. That's pretty much it though.
We're hitting the weight room pretty hard. After practice, I'm still getting into work, preparing myself for the upcoming season.
Definitely a sour taste. I feel like we could have went all the way last year with the group of kids we had, and even now, we got a lot of new faces. A very big sophomore class we got this year, so a whole bunch of new blood, and I just intend to work on them and help them become the best players they can for our team, and hopefully go all the way this year.
I just say loving the process, working throughout the off season, and hopefully we can go back to conference championships. Just keep building on it.
Coach, other than the 4 you brought with you here, who are some other ones to watch out for this fall?
Dallas Jimerson has had an awesome spring. Dallas played a lot of H4s last year whenever Trey got hurt. Stepped into that role, and he has gotten stronger, gotten faster. He's grown up a ton. He leads by example every day. He's going to be a kid that we're looking for to have a really good year. DJ Stevens is another skill position that we have. We kind of rotate some of our bigger backs. They'll tote the ball at T. We'll move him to H. We'll play him at Y. DJ's a kid that we can move all over. He's a Swiss Army knife, and he can go get the ball. He can run the ball. He can block. He does a lot of things really well. Trey Brown is another sophomore that we have high expectations for. He's got a good burst. He catches the ball well. He's very versatile. Nez Brazen was a kid that ran track for us last year. got on the field a little bit as a sophomore, and then as he got into track, he was had one of the fastest 300-meter hurdle times in the state, placed at state, and he's going to be a kid that's a threat out wide. And we're looking forward to him stepping into a leadership role and having a big year.
And as you talked about, still in the 2A4 conference, but your non-conference schedule looks completely different this year. Now, I know, maybe not to speak for you guys, maybe part of that is just maybe your location, maybe harder to find some of the games, but what went into scheduling Parker's Chapel? Was that Gurdon and Harmony Grove as well?
Yeah, proximity's nice. Two of them are 3 opponents. You want to play people that are going to help prepare you for league play. Harmony Grove is an old rivalry that has dated back for a long time. There are a lot of people in the community that were excited to get that game started. Those coaching staff do a good job with their groups, and at the end of the day, we're looking to see a couple different offenses and defenses in non-league play, so that when we get to conference, we're hopefully hardened and battled and build some depth, find out what some guys can do, and continue to grow week to week. And we feel like those 3 teams were good opponents for us to help us get to where we want to be in conference.
All right, starting from left to right. Favorite pregame meal and favorite song or artist that you listen to get yourself hyped on game day. Give me 1 second. All right, go ahead.
Polo G. Pretty much that's it. That's all I need to get hyped.
Favorite music, I would say probably the band. I love when the trumpets getting going. I love when they get going. It really turns me. It makes the whole team turn up, and a nice sandwich is pretty good.
I'd say for me, my favorite pregame meal is the best fast food restaurant, Subway. I love me a good Subway sandwich. It gets me going, gets everything right. And I'd say my favorite pregame music, probably a little bit of Justin Bieber. It gets me pumped and gliding everywhere, ready to play. So yeah.
I'd say for the pregame meal, it's got to be the chicken Alfredo. Like we back in junior high, it was the first time I had it. It's been my pregame meal ever since. And so for music though, it's got to be Young Boy. He just gets everybody hyped.
Coach, what about yourself?
Pregame snack would probably have to be a cannoli.
No way.
Where do you find a cannoli in Mark? That's the first.
We'll get them from DeLuca's in Hot Springs.
Oh, there you go.
Shameless plug. I love
Yeah, DeLuca's, it's the best. Yeah.
Any music as well?
Oh, music. Probably just some Turnpike Troubadours or Red Clay Strays, something in that realm.
And Coach, I remember when you came here last. This was your first year, at this time last year, and you talked about just the community. I love asking, especially the small town programs, where like the school and the sports are like the primary thing that you'll see people like just supporting, and the community support when you came in. I remember you really talking a lot about that. But now that they've experienced some success from this football team, I can imagine maybe there's a little bit of an uptick with that. So just talk about that.
Yeah, no, it's still great. My family, we love it down there. My wife's a school nurse. My 2 kids are in school down there, so we're ingrained as much as possible, and anything we need, the school says yes, the community says yes. People drive, help cook steaks for a pregame meal, whatever we need, they're in. They love it. It's fun to get to go to church on Sundays and ask how summer's going, how practice going, how's the weight room going, and the constant attention and buy-in is awesome. And it's kind of a lost thing. There's more to do on Fridays and places growing and more to see with more entertainment and this and that, but small town Arkansas football is still kind of back out, felt like 20 years ago, and it's really neat to still get to experience that, and our kids get to be a part of that.
All right, fellas, really appreciate y'all returning. Good luck to you this season, and have a safe trip home.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, up next we've got the Conway Wampus Cats. They're led by head coach Buck James. Coach, I will pass it over to you to introduce who you brought with you and give your opening statement.
Well, I have Lawrence Wagner, our defensive end last year. Lawrence is overcoming a little bit of knee injury, and we're hoping to get him back in the middle of the year. And he's a guy that played 60, 70 snaps a year for us last year, and so he's a big cog to what we do. And has been offered a couple scholarships since he's been getting hurt, so that's what kind of player he is. Bennett Siegel is our linebacker. Played a lot for us last year on special teams, and he's really getting a chance to break out this year. I think he's had a really good summer and hard worker, really smart, and a guy that is going to do a good job for us. Over here is Cameron Blackman, and obviously I think Cameron's probably the best athlete in the state. I think he might be the best football player in the state. I got to get him on time, but he's a very gifted young man. He's going to Missouri State. He's been a 1,000-yard receiver for us the last 2 years. He's a go-to guy. He plays running back. He started for us as a freshman against Fayetteville in the playoffs. He's a good football player, and I'm glad we got him on our team. Major James. Major is our center. Played guard last year. I think was part of one of the better offensive lines that we've ever had, and moving him to center this year, he gets the privilege to get to go home with the coach every day, and it's hard for him. And I think we had a code word that we were supposed to use, and marshmallow is one that I use a lot with Major, and so every day he has to overcome being a marshmallow. And so that's my guys. I think they're good players, and I think we've got a good program. I think at Conway right now we've improved each and every year that we've been there. We've been really close. You know, I mean, that's what people who don't get there talk about, but we've been a play away. I mean, we were a play away last year. We really, if we make a tackle on the kickoff team or we make knock a ball down on third and long, you know, we have a chance to win a conference championship and a chance to play for a state championship. And then it came down in the playoffs where we're ahead with less than a minute to go in the game, and you know, they score a touchdown, and we can't overcome that and lose by 2 points. And that's the way it's been every year. It's came down to a play, and it's Conway's time to step up. I think we've done the work. We're strong enough to compete now. We're tough enough to compete now. Now we've just got to go out there and play at the level that it takes to win championships. And our kids believe in themselves. Our program it stands for itself. But you know, players got to make plays, and coaches got to make the right calls. And when it comes down to a play or two, then you know, both have a big stake in what's going on. And I think our football program has got to take the next step. And this is the year that we've got to do it. And I think it helps build our program from the bottom up. I think these guys are these are the guys that we had in the 9th grade when I got there. They're the first true program or kids that came through the whole program, and you know, I think the time is for us, and we just got to go out there and do it.
So obviously, Coach, the programs you've had have been consistent, obviously, but you do mention like taking that next step. What are some things that y'all have done in the offseason do you think Conway can take the next step in the 7A Central?
Well, you can't take winning for granted. I mean, it's hard. You know, we've been in the semifinals last 10 years in a row. You know, that says something. You know, we've won 9 or 10 games really for the last 10 years, and minimum. And you know, but the only thing people really remember is that last game. And, you know, I mean, there's only one team that's going to win their last game unless they're just not going to the playoffs. And, you know, I mean, it's good to be in that fray. It's good to be there. You know, we're 5-10 in the playoffs the last 10 years. You know, it's not like we don't know how to get there. It's just that we got to finish. And, you know, we have half the time and half the time we hadn't. And, you know, there's a lot of programs around the state and probably across the country that would like to be able to say that. But, you know, the fact is, you know, the higher you climb the tree, the more you expose your rear end. And I think that's who we are. You know, I mean, we're up in the tree. We're up there high enough for people to see us, but we've got to keep climbing. And I think that's what our kids understand. I think they understand that. We preach that, and our kids are starting to understand that.
And Guys, we'll start with you, Cam, down here and work our way down. But just listening to what Coach is saying, and just how this, lots of success. But just talking about finishing, and y'all all been a part of that. Just how hungry are you coming into the season?
I feel like the whole team in general is the hungriest team in 7A. Probably the state we want it the most.
I've been here since ninth grade year, and I just hate seeing us lose in the semifinal or quarterfinal every year, and I just want us to make a change and have the up and coming players play like I put on 56. I want somebody who also wears number 56, who's in like 5th, 6th grade, look up to me and stuff, and just want to do it for the younger guys.
Tell you, we're excited for this upcoming season, and being able to put in the work on the defense side of the ball. We're really excited, and we're ready to hit hard, and that's something I think we've been scared of for the past couple of years. Is we've got to the playoffs and then it falls off when something hits us in the face when we're not used to that, and I think there's a part where we can hit back even harder and get over that hill.
Well, every day since our final game in the playoffs against Bentonville, I thought about how we need to come back and win. And recently during spring ball, I got injured. And when I got injured, it motivated the team even harder to come back and win and make it so that there'd be a chance that I could play later on in the season and we could win this year. And during the offseason, our defensive coordinator said something that really stuck with me, that you got to hate losing more than you love winning. And that's the most important thing I feel like that we need to have as a team, is to hate to lose more than we love to win.
Major, I wanted to ask you, you're moving from guard to center. Obviously your dad has been a very successful head football coach, but also has a background as playing offensive line. How is not just growing up under his roof, but also just growing up under his tutelage and mentor as an offensive line guy, how has that helped your development through the years?
It's helped a lot. I get coaching there with all my coaching, Coach Roberts and Coach Reed, and then I get coaching at home, and it's just, it's like kind of surreal. Like, it's not really many people get to experience that, and I just feel like I got all the tools set up for me. I'm like the golden boy.
So you look at your schedule, and obviously you get another date with Bentonville in the non-conference. Obviously, as all of y'all have mentioned, that left a really bad taste in your mouth to take that exit in the playoff. But what else are you really looking for in this schedule? Obviously, an I-State game and Marion also in the non-conference. But coach and from the players, how do y'all evaluate the schedule this year?
Well, I think it's a good schedule. We're getting to play a team that's 5.5 hours away from us, so that tells us something. We're not getting everybody in state wants to play us, and that's a good thing. And it's also that they're traveling 5.5 hours to play us too, and so that says they're probably pretty good. The thing is that I think it's good to play good teams. When I was at Bryant, we played Fayetteville and we played Benton, and we played those kind of games. And I've told Bentonville many times. You don't even have to send out a contract. We'll play till we can't play no more. And I think you don't get better if you don't play teams that are really good. And I think we've got to have a strong schedule. North Little Rock, you got Bryant, you got Pulaski Academy. Little Rock Christian. We have a lot of good teams in our conference, and so there's a lot of good players, and so we don't really have to get up because it's a certain week, because every week is a big ball game, and it's a big town. It's a big school, and everybody has good players, and so you've got to be ready each and every Friday night.
And I also wanted to ask too, we had Leslie Tapp was one of the guys that you had here last year, a guy that was so patient, was such a great team player, and unfortunately, injuries really kind of messed up his season in a lot of ways. But the bright side of that was Ryder Cook got a lot of snaps as well to really prepare him for his varsity career. So talk about how he's come along in this offense with a full, offseason after playing some reps, or really, I guess, starting some games as a sophomore as well.
Well, I think it benefited Ryder being with Wes. I think, Ryder's a leader. He's a natural leader, and he's a great kid, and he's a competitor, and I like him. I like him a lot, and he can run. He can run like the wind, and he's really worked hard on throwing the football, and he's grown a lot. And he's a guy that can get people out there to throw on the weekends. And he's a guy that makes guys around him better because he's there on the team. And so, I think he's going to be a guy that is going to open some eyes. I think he's a guy that has put the work in. I think will be a good player.
All right, guys. We're going to start from left to right. Favorite pregame meal, and then favorite song to listen to or artist to listen to get you hype on game days. Give me 1 second.
My favorite pregame meal has to be good old pasta grill, some Alfredo, and of course some fruit snacks. And I don't have a particular song that I listen to, but I do have a common artist, Raw Wave. Yeah, he gets me really locked in, gets me where I need to be before the game.
Pre-game meal, I really like Don Pepe's. I just like eating it. And my favorite song, I don't really got a song either, but I got an artist. It's Young Boy, NBA Young Boy.
I'm gonna have to go with Don Pepe's too. I feel like it's just a Conway. Everybody loves to eat it in there. Gets good carbs and protein. I guess I'm with the rest of them on favorite song or artist. I like to just be in silence and patience before we go out in the game, and because it gets pretty loud out there on the field. So I would say more silence and prayer.
My favorite meal is probably either Chick-fil-A or Don Pepe's. Like Bennett said, good carbs, good source of protein, and then we get some fruit with it. Make sure you energize before the game. And I like to listen to Young Boy too. Probably favorite song is probably like Via Loca. And just talking with my teammates, getting them ready before the game.
Coach, you have a meal or a favorite song you like to listen to before getting out there?
Well, I'm sort of a McDonald's guy. I'm sort of plain. Song-wise, I'm 80s rock. I'm not one way or the other on that, but I almost turned into classic 70s stuff, as well. But I really don't think a lot about it. I worry more, when games going to happen, I just sort of worry more than I do anything else.
And I certainly want to give some love to the defense. I'll ask you guys here, just talk about how that's come along. Lawrence, I told Coach James after the season, I called a couple of your games. I feel like when you were healthy, you were one of the biggest game wreckers on the defensive line that I saw this year. So, it kind of starts up front with you, Bennett, you at linebacker. So how has the defense come along?
I feel like we've come along great. We lost some guys last year with Joe and Caleb and Juju. Those are big guys that have been around since I was a freshman, and I've seen them grow. And now they're not there anymore. But we got a lot of young guys coming in. We got Bennett, a different one. We got Jabari, and then my teammate Cam. It hurt him bad when I got hurt because me and him been with each other since 9th grade, pushing each other, trying to be the best DNs that we can be in the state. And then I just feel like our defense we gotta accept the fact that I'm not gonna be there for a little bit, but I feel like we've been doing good so far.
I'd say more than anything, we've had better discipline than we ever had it on defense and in the fight to win. And like Lawrence said, to hate losing. More than ever, I feel like our discipline has been the best, and that's what we need when on the ball and even at corner and linebacker. We have a lot of young guys, and that's been different. There's not a lot of vets out there. Start of the spring, I was the only senior linebacker, but a lot of the young guys have been able to step up, and they've taken on the charge, and it's been fun seeing them mature and grow up into the position that they're at.
Guys, really appreciate you coming back. Good luck I keep saying the rest. Good luck this upcoming season, not trying to get too far ahead. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, guys.
Our next team up on the stand is Coach Zach Clark and the Searcy Lions. Coach, I'll hand it over to you for your opening statement. Introduce the 4 players you brought here with you today.
Appreciate it. To my far right, we've got Will Manning, a senior receiver for us, slot receiver, inside guy. Outside receiver, Jackson Smith. To my immediate right, to my immediate left, Will Gaines, our Mike linebacker, and then to his left is Caden Hickman, our Will linebacker. All these guys are returning starters. Had some postseason, all-state award last year, so we're excited. Thank you guys for having us, and we're ready to get going.
So obviously the biggest thing moving up a classification, going to 6A, finished second in the 5A Central last year, but a new challenge. What does that new challenge look like in the offseason for the Searcy Lions?
We were 6A in the 6A East, I guess, when I first got here and until this past cycle. We know, the competition, it looks like, 6A East, everybody's, you could, right now, all 8 teams can play. So there's no bye weeks. We're going to have to play really well every week, but we're excited. We're excited for the challenge to get back in the 6A, and we'll see what happens.
Obviously, Searcy scored a lot of points. You talked about returning starters. Can you give us just some examples of what you got returning on the offensive side of the ball?
We, as a whole, this group of guys have played since they were sophomores. We've been excited about this group. I think, offensively, we'll have 5 juniors on the offensive line, a junior quarterback, and a junior tight end. Everybody else is are seniors on the offensive side, and we return. These 2 guys were 1,000-yard receivers last year. We returned another receiver that had almost 800, I believe, around 800 yards, and we return our quarterback. We've got a junior, Jacob Miles, that anytime you return your quarterback, you got to be confident going into the season. We're moving DeAndre Shockley from safety. He's 2-year starter at safety to tailback. So that'll be interesting. We like some of the pieces. Don't have as many returning starters on offense as we do, but we did take 2 guys from defense that started last year on defense. They're going to start on offense at least, to start off the year. So, going through the summer in 7-on-7 and team camp with a veteran squad that we've had, just a learning curve. It's not like you're going back to day one. I think we're further along this summer than we have been at any point since I've been.
And I'll start with the players on here and go down. You lost in the first round of the playoffs, but I think it's pretty obvious that Hot Springs Lakeside was not your average 3 seed, right? Get to the state championship and the runner-up, but still, nonetheless, I know that left a bad taste in you guys' mouth because you had such a great regular season and you have so many coming back. So just talk about the motivation that you have individually, but also that you've discussed as a team.
I think that loss showed us that, we had so much potential to even go deep in the playoffs, and obviously we didn't do that. And, I wanted that really bad. But with that loss and going back up to 6A, I think it fuels more fire in us to just do even better than what we could have done last year. We feel like we left still some on the table last year, but I believe that going back up to 6A, knowing that it's better competition, knowing that we have all of our team back, most of our team back, that we're ready to do it for 6A, and we believe 6A is wide open, and it's wide open for us this year.
I would just say I feel pretty confident because last year we had a pretty good year, and this summer we went undefeated in both 7-on-7 tournaments we've played in, and we have a lot of returning starters, as Will said. But I think we're going to be pretty good this year.
Yeah, I feel like that loss to Lakeside left a bad taste in our mouth last year. So we're just going to try to do whatever we can this year to get over the hump, make a deep playoff run, and win a state championship. We know it's going to be tough moving up to 6A, but I feel like we have all the talent and the pieces to do it.
Last year during the loss, when we lost to Lakeside,
I feel like everyone wasn't really healthy. I feel like this year we're going to dominate more. God's going to give us the courage. I feel like 6A is going to be wide open for us to walk in and do what we do to win and succeed this year and go win a state championship title.
Coach, you got a little history with slinging the rock around, and I know it was pretty cool to see what Jacob did last year, at quarterback. And maybe not a surprise to you guys, but as far as just a young guy and to the rest of the state, it's like, whoa, just what he did. So talk about just how he has progressed. You talked about success in 7-on-7 this year and just through the offseason. I know you're real happy to have him for 2 more years.
Yeah, no question. I mean, going in, I can't say it was a big surprise, but anytime you start a sophomore at any position, much less quarterback, you kind of go in wondering, how's this guy gonna, how's he gonna handle it? And Jacob just, he's got older brothers. This is a tight knit. We're in a tight knit community, tight knit. It's kind of a family where, Jacob grew up hanging out with these guys. The guy's older, and with his older brothers, and so he handled that really well. I think, moving forward, we've got great leadership with our seniors and also with Jacob. He's just, he's a tough kid that commands respect from everybody in the locker room.
Along with Jacob, along with these 4, just some other guys, I know there's probably a lot that we should watch out for with all that you got returning. We did, like I said, with, Bryson Thompson's the other receiver that, was all conference last year. These guys at linebacker, they've played for, this will be their 3rd year starting. We return our entire defensive line. Got 2 big guys in the middle, and Jaden Simmons and Karan Connor. And then our secondary, we were able to move Shockley to offense because we will start 1 sophomore. But we also, Carter Blanchard, kid named Carter Blanchard, will be our free safety. He started as a corner as a sophomore, and then he was out with an injury all last year. And we returned Derek Young at corner. So I've never been on a team where, we had so many returning starters. That's exciting. But we still have to go out and earn it. We've got to continue to work. We've got to continue to get better and better. Especially once, I think it's August 3rd, once fall camp starts, we're on the ground, we're running.
All right, guys, favorite pregame meal and favorite song to get hyped to on game days.
Pregame meals. There's a lot you could say. Probably just grilled chicken and rice or something like that. And favorite hype song. It kind of changes for me, but probably something by Boosie.
My favorite pregame meal, I like to eat Cheerios in the morning. That's my favorite cereal. And favorite hype song probably have to be "Help Me" by Real Boston Richie.
Well, game day I like to start my morning off with like eating waffles and eggs. But like pregame, probably like chicken, stuff like that. Favorite hype song probably have to be a song by NBA YoungBoy or Lil Durk.
For my pregame meal, I like to eat some type of Alfredo. And my hype song that I like to listen to is "Shoot First" by Moneyway Peso.
Man, we do a great job, the Mom Squad does, with the pregame meal. These guys hadn't even heard of Phil Collins, but is there a better song than "In the Air Tonight" to get rid when that drum hits, So that'd be mine. That's my go-to.
So we asked you about the moving up to 6A, like you said. I guess other than this cycle, you've been in the 6A East pretty much your entire time at Searcy. But I think you guys have opened up against Batesville, at least a lot in recent memory.
Right.
Of course, you got Valley View again on the schedule, and then you also had always a good Greenbrier team under Randy Tribble. It's been there for years. So just talk about that non-con a little bit.
Yeah, the non-conference, we do, I guess, historically, Searcy and Batesville have been big rivals. It's an hour away. The gate's going to be good. So I like the fact we've kind of continued that, long tradition of starting off with Batesville. they're going to be a lot better. Well, first of all, we're kind of in a weird, it was a new cycle. We didn't know. We had a team for our third game that we thought we had at home, and then that didn't happen. And so we found Greenbrier late, luckily, and we lost on a coin toss. We're going there. So we're actually only going to have 4 home games in the regular season. But then, I guess it's week 1, our second game, we go to Valley View. Sean, that's a great program. They've, kind of run the 5A East here for the better part of a decade. And, we've played them, we've split with them the last 2 years. We've seen them this summer. They're just an outstanding program. It'll be a tough one. And then we go on the road, have a bye and go on the road to Greenbrier. That they're always, Coach Tribble does a great job. They're always going to be really good. I think that's going to, it's a good non-conference to get us ready to, I think we play El Dorado then after that. I know Brett Shockley, he says they're extremely talented. And, they always are. They're really big this year. So yeah, the non-conference certainly we feel like is going to be a good test to, get us ready to hit the stretch run.
All right, fellas, we appreciate y'all coming back. Good luck this season.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Up next, we've got the Atkins Red Devils. They're led by head coach Austin Dobbs. Coach, I will throw it over to you to introduce who you brought with you and give your opening statement.
Yes, sir. First thing, I'd just like to thank y'all for having us out here. This first year we've been able to make it here. Been treated really well so far, so appreciate y'all covering all you do for Arkansas high school football. From left to right, I'm going to introduce Ethan Lindboom, and I'll let y'all tell you your position here a little bit. Chance Cawthon, Tate Sweden right here, and Mason Vick. All 4 of them are seniors for us and great leaders for us.
Coming off a 9-win season, and I guess it's second round of the playoffs. So, no, just trying to keep building on that and just kind of talk about the overall outlook for the year.
Yes, sir. Yeah. You know, year one, 8-4. Last year, go 9-3. Improve our seed. 3 seed, go on the road and play Prescott and pulled off a good win there. Graduated a ton of talent last year, but we also returned a really, really good senior class and a heavy senior class. So I think just making sure we don't stay content with just round 2 and trying to push past round 2. We know you're going to have a tough round 2 game in 3A if you make it there, and being able to kind of put that success together in the playoffs and play our best ball in November. That's what we're looking to do. And certainly these guys have attacked offseason the right way and have developed those relationships with their teammates that they need to do to have success in the playoffs. So.
Well, let's talk about that offseason, guys. We'll start down here and then work our way down. Just what have you focused on as far as just like individually, and then also talked about as a team that you needed to improve on?
I've been focused on a lot about throwing and trying to get faster and stronger. As a team, we've put in a lot of work together, throwing and stuff.
For me personally, I focus on putting on good weight. You know, I jumped up about 30, 40 pounds. Been working on my footwork. And just as a team, we've just been trying to bond, just get to know each other more, get to know these younger guys, and just everything like that.
I think as a player, I've focused on just like Chance said, getting bigger and stronger, faster in the off season. And yeah, as a team, I think we've just been bonding a lot. Yeah, getting to know the younger guys coming up since we had a big senior class graduate last year. So just everybody stepping into their own kind of role on the field.
I focused a lot more on route running. I talked to Coach Dobbs after the season ended. That was one of the things he gave me, working on footwork and running my routes, and definitely adding some muscle and getting a little faster. As a team, I think one of the biggest things in our offseason was getting ready to make a deeper push in the playoffs, trying to sustain what we had all season longer in the playoffs this year.
So, Coach, you joined the 3A4, one of the new members in it. What do you look at when you see your schedule?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, this conference is a lot tougher than maybe that meets the eye. I know last year the conference as a whole was down, but it was also a really young conference. Obviously, we got to see Glen Rose in the second round of playoffs, and we know the kind of talent they have. They return a really, really talented quarterback. You know, at the same time, you're excited. You know, we don't have to make the 3-hour road trips to Salem and Melbourne and travel a long ways. And so a little closer games, a little more familiarity. You know, Danville used to be in our conference in years past. Perryville, we've played for a while. And so definitely I think it's going to be a competition every week. But we're definitely excited to not have to make those bus rides or have those bus rides again.
So for the players, Coach got here when y'all were sophomores. Y'all been able to build this program, make the playoffs. What have y'all seen shift since Coach Dobbs took the reign?
I think there was a lot of negativity sometimes in the program, and he sets a really good, like, positive role model kind of for all of us. And just leads us in the right direction in everything, on and off the field.
I think the biggest thing was just the consistency. He comes in, he sets a standard every day for us. We know what's expected each and every day. We know how he wants it done, what he wants done each and every day. And it's helped us be able to just get better and focus on what we're doing and not worry about what's going on, just getting better and focusing on the quality of the reps.
It's just like Vic said, just the consistency. You know, we come in, do the same thing every day, every week, and, you know, we try really hard to get really good at what we do. And that's one thing that Coach Dobbs has made sure we've done. And I think it's going to take us really far as a team and in life.
Coach has definitely been a lot more stricter on us and making sure that we're doing the right thing every day and make sure we don't skip reps in the weight room and just being the best we can as a team.
Yeah, Coach, I want to follow up with that and kind of get your take on it, too. I mean, when you had taken over this program, 2 wins in as many seasons, and Now you said look at the 8 wins and not so 17 over the past 2 years, just a lot of improvement. So what have you seen? Obviously buy-in and discipline and things like that, but just from your perspective.
Yeah, one thing I'll say, in high school football, definitely it comes in waves, and I think just the kids hit on it, being consistent, no matter if you're winning or losing, showing up, always having a positive mindset, not getting down on yourselves. But I'm gonna tell you, these kids, the players, the athletes, that's why you coach. And I know coaching sometimes. I've been around a lot of egos, and I think coaching, if it's not about the kids, then you're missing the mark. And so just making sure you put them first and make decisions for them. It definitely it's helped get that buy-in. And I know the 2-8 season we were really close to winning a lot of ball games that year. And just building off of it, being positive, and I'll be honest with you, that first game when I became head coach, beating Perryville that year 25-24, I think it set the standard and set the tone. And I put these kids through a lot now. I mean, we do a lot of stuff. We have an event coming up we call Red Dawn, and we start at 6 a.m. and we go until I'm tired, and I don't have to do as much as they do, so I don't get tired as fast. And that kind of stuff, bringing the town together, getting the town involved, and the guys seeing that hard work pays off has definitely put us going towards the right direction.
And along with these 4 guys that you have with you today, who are some other names we should watch this season?
Yeah, man, I'm going to miss so many seniors that I want to talk about. We do have a transfer in from Worlton. It's a big name. His name's Braylon Criswell. Super talented kid, very fast, very athletic. There's a lot of sophomores as well that were on a part of a junior high conference championship team last year that have stepped in nicely. They're still sophomores. They're still developing, but they've done really well. Our offensive line, we returned 4 seniors on that offensive line: Solomon Lytle, Sawyer Bartlett, Lucas Shannon. I believe that we have 2 of the best tackles in 3A with Lucas Shannon and Chance Coffin. On the defense side of the ball, I got a nose guard that's going to plug both A-gaps and Camden Newby. Also have a defensive tackle named Dayton Rilings, who, if you don't know him, he's undersized, but the kid just makes plays. His motor never stops, and we're blessed with some really, really good kids and really, really good families in our program, and that's why we're having success. It's the families and the community we have.
Left to right, favorite pregame meal and favorite artist or song that gets you hype on game days?
Favorite pregame meal is probably Chick-fil-A. We don't get it very often, but it's probably one of my favorite. But I don't really listen to music before games. I'm not a big music guy, so I don't really listen to it.
My favorite pregame meal is a pasta grill. We get it every now and then, and I'll down about 5 plates.
That's no lie. That's no lie.
Favorite song is probably War Pigs, and just listen to it. It makes me feel unstoppable.
Go Hogs.
My favorite pregame meal is probably pasta grill as well, and yeah, I like the rock music too. I like some Candlebox. Listen to AC/DC every now and then, but yeah.
My favorite pregame meal, we have a little barbecue joint in our community, and it's right there by the field house. It's easy to eat, and it's probably my favorite. Music for the game, kind of like Chance said, I would say War Pigs, but he said that, so since he said War Pigs, I might have to go Stained. Anything by Stained is good before the game.
Coach, what about yourself? Any pregame meal, any music?
Any food is good with me. I don't shy away from anything. Music, anything. I'm not against rap. Young Boy and some of that. I'm not against it, but we like listening AC/DC. We run out to Hell's Bells. It's probably my personal favorite. The kids probably, I don't know that they like it because we play it so much. But any food though, for sure.
All right, well, fellas, enjoyed having y'all. Really appreciate you coming, and good luck this season.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, up next we've got the Star City Bulldogs. They're led by head coach Matt Garriott. And coach, I will go ahead and pass it over to you to introduce who you brought with you and give your opening statement.
All right, guys. First and foremost, thank you guys for everything y'all do, especially for Arkansas High School football. This whole setup is unmatched. Guys we brought with us this year, senior running back safety Parker Wynn, senior cornerback, running back Braylon Seawood, also senior running back, cornerback Kai Griffith, and then senior offensive lineman, defensive lineman Hunter McConnell. This year is going to be, completely different than what we embarked on last year. I got hired last year in the middle of summer, and it was a very, very, new transition, especially for myself being a first-year head coach. And, we were kind of behind the 8 ball, and we really took our lumps, and I think everybody knows that. But all these guys have done is gone back to work. And this winter, I think we had two guys that squatted over 405 last year, and we got into off season and our numbers went through the roof. So all these dudes have done is led, and we hope to have a much better go of it this year.
Yeah, and kind of building off what you said, if I remember right, you went on vacation as an assistant and you came back as a head coach at Star City. So like you said, it was new for you, it was new for the guys, even though you were on staff and had that familiarity. So kind of what is the message? Like you really just probably trying to keep the team together last year. What has that been throughout the offseason with the new message coming into this year?
So one thing we did is we established a player leadership council. What that was that consisted of 3 seniors, 3 juniors, and a sophomore. And we adopted, one of my good friends is head coach at Prairie View A&M is Tremaine Jackson, and one acronym they use is DOG. And I saw that over the last year, and I'm like, that really fits us being the Star City Bulldogs. And it stands for discipline, obedience, and grit. And I really rallied around a bunch of these guys as our leadership council, and had to have some gut check moments. And what do we want out of this? Do we want to play football team, or do we want to actually flip this thing and get back to where we were and get back to how we should be playing? And they've rallied around it. They've held the team accountable. Like I said, we've gone through off season. We've had a great winter. We've had a great spring. I'm really confident in the summer we've had, and we just got to go now and put it out there and and show the state that it's going to be different.
And for the players, we'll start down here. And, obviously, I'm sure, a lot of those conversations were within your team walls. But what can you tell us just about, like, how you guys have each embraced those? Obviously, you're here today, so Coach looks at you as a team leader. How have you each embraced those roles?
We've just been, trying to help the younger guys. We've had several younger guys who have had to step up and be starters this year who have done a great job so far. But just being the older guys and helping them and, leading them to do what they're supposed to do, that's just really been some of our roles in that.
Yeah, leading off of what he just said, the younger guys, they're going to be like the future of our team. So making sure they stay on track and doing what they need to do and setting a great example for them. That's what matters to us.
Really just got to make sure we stay together as a team, being the older guys, be good role models, set a good example, and just make sure we all stay together and not fall apart. It's all about the culture, is what Coach usually brings up. So we just got to make sure we stay strong together.
You just got to lead by example with these guys. A lot of people hate on them. There's a bunch of diamonds in the rough, though.
Coach, you were an assistant, obviously before, but you were on the 2022, part of the 2022 staff. And, I understand you're not looking in the past, you're looking to now, but it wasn't that long ago that this was a 10-win football team. Yes. So maybe what are some of I guess these guys were probably about in 8th grade at that time, so they saw it happen. What are some of the things that you take from seasons like that to now instill your teams?
I think the biggest thing is we've got to get back to playing the way Star City's supposed to play. I'm not from Star City. I'm from Fayetteville, but I consider Star City my home. And I'm going on my 6th year on staff. And when I got to Star City under Coach Vereen, there was a buzz, there was an energy, and it's similar to kind of how when Coach James was the head coach, Coach Blair Brown, all the way through Jet Furneaux, there was a style of play that Star City played with, and it was tough, tenacious. It was hit you in the mouth. We're going to get back in the huddle, and we'll be back in 30 seconds to do it again. And we've got to get back to playing football that way. And I think that these guys, and culture is such an overhyped word in in high school football and coaching, whatever, but culture is everything. And Randy Jackson wrote a book about it. If he didn't write a book about it, I mean, it's not true. But he did, and culture is everything. And, you know, these guys have rallied around our change of culture, and we, like I said, we've had a great summer, a great spring, and, you know, you can tell that we've kind of made strides to get back to that.
So for the players, we can start over here. What's one thing that you've really tried to drill home this summer to get back to that Star City way?
I've been trying to lead them, my O-linemen in finishing blocks, being aggressive, just not being as soft as we were last year. They leased to 0-10.
Leading off what he said, just leading, you know, setting a good example. I mean, we got to make sure we get in that mentality that we're here to play, handle business. I mean, we can laugh and joke sometimes, but we just got to make sure when it's time to play, it's time to play.
You know, moving from a spread offense to, you know, more running and doing things of that nature. It's not hard, but, you know, moving from something like that to running the ball, you got to have a lot of grit. You got to take a hit. You got to just be strong. So being in the weight room, you know, that goes with a lot of that, and just being strong in general.
Just being tough, being physical, you know, getting after it, playing hard. You know, that's something we lacked last year that was kind of led to our downfall. But, you know, it's just really about being physical, being strong, being tough, and not giving up on plays. Effort saved us a lot. We had team camp yesterday where effort kind of made up for our mistakes. But that's one of the things that could carry us if we can keep that up.
Coach, along with these four guys that you have with you today, who are some others you expect to really make some noise for you?
You know, I'll speak on it. You know, I'm really excited about, you know, junior offensive lineman Adam Sullivan. He's had a phenomenal winter, and, you know, he's stepped into a leadership role also. He's one of our juniors that was voted on in our leadership council. And he's done a great job as well as Hunter in leading up front on offense. Really excited about quarterback Drew Morgan. He said, you know, we went through spring drills, and he kind of earned the job. And he's done a great job of kind of ushering our offense along going through the month of June and July. Defensively, Chris Edwards up front on defensive line. He's had a great spring. He's our strongest kid in the program right now. He's very sudden. He gets off of blocks well. At linebacker, really excited about Tristan Taylor, sophomore linebacker. He's our lone sophomore that was voted on our leadership council as well. He's a kid that when we would get done with workouts and off season, he would stay an extra hour and a half and continue lifting. You know, also with that, his brother's our defensive coordinator and he's a soccer coach, so he needed a ride home. But, you know, Tristan, he does a great job. He's always where he's supposed to be. If not, he's asking questions, he's watching film, you know, and then defensive back wise, you know, other than these guys, I'm really excited about Mario Iverson. He's came out from the basketball team. He was an all-state basketball player last year, and, you know, he's very sudden. He's elusive. He drives through the ball. He makes plays on the ball, and really excited about him helping in the back end. But, I mean, this team, they've bought in. I can't say enough about our mentality right now. Now, like I said, now it's time to get into the month of August and go back to work and earn something for real.
All right, guys. Favorite pregame meal and favorite song or artist to listen to get you hype on game days?
We don't really have a say in what we eat. Coach just kind of feeds us whatever he feels like. So, but favorite song, I just listen to whatever they put on the speaker. So,
You know, being a football player, it's like you're supposed to eat healthy, but pregame meals, I normally go McDonald's, you know, with cookie tote and a triple cheeseburger. You know, my favorite artist got to be AC/DC. You know, I like that. Coach, you know. Probably Young Boy, you know, NBA Young Boy. That's my favorite right there, going with him.
As far as meal-wise goes, I mean, I wouldn't say I have a favorite pregame meal, just whatever they feed us. I'm just always hungry, ready to eat. But as far as music goes, really nobody specific, no kind of genre. I really just listen to whatever they play, just something to get me pumped up and hyped, ready to play.
My favorites are Bulldog breakfast. They feed us at the church. I normally get some biscuits and gravy. And my favorite band's probably AC/DC.
I gotta go with my man. I'm a lineman also. I gotta go Bulldog breakfast. And, you know, my go-to in high school in Fayetteville was probably Rick Davies special. I gotta go with Roxette. Y'all probably have no idea about it, but my man would blast that right before before Daryl Patton would give his little pregame speech, and the hair on your neck would be standing up. So I'll take it back to that. They ain't ready for that.
Please don't.
All right, fellas. Great job. Really appreciate y'all coming up again, and great luck. Best of luck to you this upcoming season.
Waffles.
Thank you, guys.
Our next team up to the stand is going to be the Arkadelphia Badgers and head coach Chris Kaiser. Coach, I'll hand it over to you for an opening statement and introduce the players you brought up here today.
Yes, sir. So from my right to left, we got senior defensive back Jaden McKenzie, senior linebacker, running back Mario Brownlee, senior running back, safety Caden Whitaker, and then senior offensive tackle, defensive tackle Dominic Brumfield. Been really pleased with the progress of our team this summer, starting with spring ball back in May. Kids have done a really good job of buying into what we want to be philosophy-wise. They're showing up every day, getting after it in our lift run football segment of our football stuff. And then we've gone to team camps. We've gone twice to Bryant. We're going to go to Robinson tomorrow. We've done a really good job competing against some really good competition. So really pleased at the progress of our football team and looking forward to see them continue to progress through the rest of the summer leading into the fall when we start playing games in the regular season.
So, Coach, a bit of a transition, defensive coordinator at Arkadelphia. Now you take over the reins. What does that transition look like for you and your staff?
The football part's been pretty much the same. Football's football, no matter if you're the coordinator or the head coach. It's really been more dealing with just dealing with the admin part that it comes with. But the good thing is we're pretty vertically aligned in our school district, starting with our superintendent, Nikki Thomas, our athletic director, Jason Jones. We all see things on the same wavelength, and then from our Badger Foundation and other stakeholders in the community, the support we get from them, it's made the transition really easy. And then also with the players here, it's been really easy because they know what I expect, and they've done a really good job buying into those expectations that we're trying to instill in them too. So it's been a really good transition, probably one of the easiest anybody could have just from being in the district for a long time.
We can start over here with the players. Obviously, you make a deep run in the playoffs, lose at Elkins by a field goal. What's something you've been working in the offseason to avenge that loss and go back to the state title like you did in 24?
We're just working hard every day, going out and running every day. We condition every day. We lift every day. Sometimes we'll do heavy squat straight into conditioning to get our legs ready for on Friday nights when we got to go down there. And sometimes we're going to be tired, but we're going to have to get it done. So we work hard now so it don't catch up to us later like it did last year.
We really like to emphasize drowning other teams in the fourth quarter. Ever since sophomore year, we've had that philosophy. Always like to play hard the whole game. Like that Elkins game, it was a fourth-quarter game. It started out, it was real close, stayed close the entire game. We really just want to be able to finish strong the whole way through, all the way through. That's why we condition so much every day, come to practice ready to work.
Like Kaz tell us every morning at 8 o'clock every morning, just come in with a 4th and 1 mindset, because when it get to that point, we done worked all off season to get there. So it ain't gonna be like nothing new, like, because we do it every day.
We just work hard. We just come in every day and just work and we know what happened last year and how we lost that game and why we lost that game. So every day we come into practice and we just like think about that, and maybe it's like sometimes we'll like be conditioned and one of our coaches be like, the Elkins game. Let's talk like what happened that game. You gotta push through. So that just all get to our head and we just push harder every day, and it's just like that's our thing, just to push hard, work hard, stay dedicated, come to practice, be on time. That's Kaiser's biggest thing. Just be on time every single day and just stay dedicated.
Coach, you've had some very successful defenses here at Arkadelphia. Obviously, you got Mario anchoring that linebacker position. What other defensive keys are you looking for in the Badgers this season?
So really, it's a whole defensive effort. So starting with the defensive line, we've got Anthony Hill back that had a really good sophomore year. Ended up squatting 535 the last time we tested in late May. So he's a pretty good anchor on our defensive line, holding double teams and really starting from that interior, holding down the run game. Got Jace Nelson at one end spot. We got Cameron Taylor at another end spot with some sophomores filling in that have done a really good job as far as learning our scheme and doing things. Obviously with Mario at linebacker, but we're really about 5 deep at that spot. Walker Witten, Hayden Hooten, Ethan Lewis, they all come in and contribute as well. And then in our secondary, Mac over here is the leader of that group, but we've got Jalen Rutherford, at the other corner spot. Really looking forward to what he's been able to do this summer and the progress he's made. He's going to be a really good corner for us. We got James Duval. We moved from linebacker to safety. That's had a really good spring and summer so far. And then the other corner right now is kind of by committee with Nasir Jones and Cheston Mitchell. But the biggest thing with our defenders throughout the time I've been being a coordinator is we've done a really good job, I feel, as a staff of getting them to buy into our vicious, violent, relentless philosophy and just being that type of team, instilling fear and intimidation in the other team's offense for 4 quarters. And our players have bought into that. They've done it, and it helps when you have really talented players like the guys we've had and I've been fortunate enough to coach.
On the offensive side of the ball, obviously Whitaker's gonna carry the rock some. What does that quarterback position look like for the Badgers?
So right now we got a sophomore, Turner Ross. He had a really good spring. More of a dual threat guy than what we've had in the past. So we're gonna rely a little bit more on the quarterback run game as well with him. Really pleased with him. Tough kid for a sophomore. Right early in the spring ball, he's trying to run over Mario. Now it didn't work. Mario put him on his butt, but he gained the respect of all of our teammates and knew right off the bat the first time that he got touched at team camp, all heck was going to break loose because of the respect he earned. And sure enough, all heck broke loose when he got touched. So it was good to see that they've got his back and everything. But really looking forward to the progress he's going to continue to make this summer. Coach Helms, our offensive coordinator, has done a really good job of installing the scheme with him at a pace where he can understand it and learn it at a quick rate, and he's done a really good job with that.
So you look at your non-conference schedule, you got Camden Fairview again, Hot Springs, and then you trade that Lake Hamilton game for the box site game. What does this schedule as a whole look like for you? And it's not like the 7-4-8, just a walk in the park league.
No, it's still a tough league. Even with the additions of Falk in there, Hope coming down from 5A, always going to have an athletic team. It's going to be a dogfight every Friday night, which we start prepping for that with our team camps. We're usually the smallest team at team camps we go to get us ready for the non-conf schedule. We always try to set up our non-conference schedule with really quality opponents that are going to test us. That way, when we get into the fourth quarter of a game in a tough opponent, or we make a deep run into the quarterfinals, the semis, or even the state championship game, our kids aren't fazed because they've been through the wars, starting in team camps, going into the non-conference action, and even, like I said, our conference, you mentioned it, it's a war every Friday night, so we've got to be ready to go. But we feel like that war is going to prepare us long-term down the road for success in the playoffs.
Starting over with you, obviously there's a couple games, if you ask a lot of Arkadelphia fans, that they would like to get back at, whether it be Nashville or Elkins, but which one stood out to y'all that y'all really have just remembered throughout the offseason?
The one we remember through the offseason is Elkins. That's a game that we look back at every single day. And Nashville, we look back at that one, but it's just stuff happened before that game that led up to why we lost that game. So we just got to move on. You can't just keep looking at that one game and be like, oh, well, we lost. Well, we got to stay down. You just got to keep going. So you just got to keep moving.
Well, obviously me, it's Elkins. You know, the season and then how it was supposed to, but that's why we work every day to get back to that position. And we know we're probably going to see him again, so when we do, it's going to be a different outcome.
That Elkins game, it really got to me. You know, playing with those seniors coming up all throughout 8th grade, and that being the way our last game together, that really stuck with me, messes with me every day. We go to practice, that's why I practice hard, and really just want to come back and get it back from them.
Also, Elkins, there was a lot of things leading up to it that led to that loss, but me and the 3 other guys sitting here along with Coach Kaiser are working hard to make sure that that doesn't happen again and that we make it to the state championship this year.
What can you say about in the trenches? Obviously, you've got an offensive lineman leader here. You mentioned Anthony Hill on the defensive line. Are you confident in the trenches?
Yes, I feel really good. So along with Dominique coming back, we got Anthony Hayes, another senior offensive lineman returner. He's had a really good offseason. We've got Holden Craig that he started, golly, I think 3 or 4 games as a sophomore last year. Jacob Calhoun's had a really good offseason. He can play center guard. Gavin Greenwoods, he just got cleared. He got hurt in the offseason, but another strong lineman, that young one, but a strong lineman that we're going to be able to rely on. We feel really good about our offensive line and being able to make an impact in the running game, protect Turner when he's back there throwing the ball in our drop-back passing game. We feel really confident in that position for sure.
You mentioned the secondary. What do you think about them so far in the summer through these 7-on-7s?
They've been getting after it. They've done a really good job of being able to transition from our pattern match zone coverage, playing man coverage, and we're going up against really good offenses too. I mean, Bryant's always got really good receivers. Conway's always got really good receivers. Cabot's got really good receivers. And those are teams we've gone up against in the last week or 2 at team camps, and we're holding our own against them. So it gives me confidence that when we do get into the teeth of our non-conference and our conference schedule, we'll be able to handle our own because we've seen some of the best that the state has to offer.
You mentioned the administration. Obviously, the community in Arkadelphia is a big part of Arkadelphia football. I'd like to hear from Coach and then all the players. What does the community mean to play underneath the lights in Arkadelphia on Friday night?
Well, starting with me, and I told them today because we had a law firm in town bring popsicles and watermelons after practice. These players, they haven't been anywhere else but Arkadelphia outside of Mario. He's been at Prescott, but I've been at North Little Rock, been at Garden, and so I've kind of seen it from the other side. The support that our community gives these players is top notch. It's some of the best in the state. Everybody's willing to pitch in and help, whether it's popsicles or watermelons. We don't have to fight to try to find a sponsor for a pregame meal. Don't have to fight to find a sponsor for a postgame meal. Everybody in our town is willing to step up and do what will help these players be the best that they can be. And so that's a real benefit that a lot of towns, not just in Arkansas, but a lot in the country, don't get that opportunity. And these players are fortunate enough to get that opportunity.
we want to start?
Basically, to piggyback off of what he just said, our community is probably the best in the state, just giving us what we need going into games, coming out of games, out of hard summer practices. They're always there for us when we need them, and sometimes we don't even have to ask. They'll just give us things just out of the kindness of their heart.
Our community has always showed up for us, even on away games. Like, whenever we always pack out the opponent's stands, we always pack them out. Like, no matter how far we go, 3 hours, 2 hours, we always got a crowd coming with us, and we never have an empty stand. So it's always nice to come play up under them, have some support behind us, and show out for them.
Ever since I came down here, they welcomed me with open arms, you know. And even just for me, it's every day I walk around the school, all the little kids, Mario, Mario, Mario. And it's just like, dang, that was me one day. So when I see that, it just makes me go harder every Friday night, knowing they cheering for me and the rest of the community. I've had a real good time ever since I stepped foot in the school.
The community is great. It's just, we have a great community. My sophomore year, we went to Darnell. It was freezing cold. I look up in the stands like we was at home. So the community loves us. They always on social media talking about Arkadelphia. They just love the Badgers. That's what we love about them.
One of the last questions, favorite pregame meal and favorite artist or song that gets you hype on game days?
Favorite game day meal, I wake up, drink some egg yolk, eat bacon and eggs. And favorite game day song, I would say Gravity by NBA Youngboy.
My favorite pregame meal is gonna sound kind of weird, believe it or not, but I like beanie weenies. I cut them up with scissors, and then with some Rotel dip. I like hot Cheetos on it. And my favorite pregame song is probably "Untouchable" by NBA Youngboy.
My favorite song, get me hype, really anything from PMEJB. And my favorite pregame meal is probably salmon and fried chicken. That really gets me going. So,
My favorite pregame meal, I always start with some burgers and always hydrate, drink some water. And my favorite song is Diamonds from Sierra Leone by Kanye West.
Meal, grilled chicken, any type of veggie with it, and then really music. Really, I'm a YouTube fanatic, so usually I've got some type of violent clip ready to get my mind right. It's usually not music. I'm usually just kind of calm in the storm, waiting to get after it. Usually some type of YouTube clip that's going to get me ready to go out to war.
All right, we appreciate y'all joining us. Have a safe trip back home.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having us.
All right, up next, we've got the Highland Rebels. They're led by head coach Sterling Stowers. And, Coach, I will pass it over to you to give your opening statement, introduce who you brought with you.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate you guys having us. I appreciate what you guys do for the state. It's always good to come down here and catch up with everybody, so thank you guys for what y'all do. Over here on the far right, we got Jimmy Jensen. All these guys are going to be seniors, so we'll just start out with that. We've got Jimmy Jensen over here. He's going to be receiver, defensive back for us. Lexon Johnson here, he'll play running back and outside backer. Austin Christie will be our quarterback, and Carson Stanford over here will play wideout, secondary, outside backer, a little bit of everything. So, again, all these guys will be seniors for us.
Well, you think about just finishing last year, you won your last 2 ball games and ran into the team that we just had in here, Arkadelphia, who was at the time the defending state champion. So just kind of talk about, you obviously got these seniors here. I know you, on defense especially, you got a lot returning. So just talking about the outlook going into 26.
Yeah, I don't want to touch too much on last year. It's in the past, and we're ready to move on, but early on, we kind of, we got a new opponent with Thayer, Missouri, who ended up making semifinals in the state of Missouri. So always a good football team up there. Then we ran into some things from about week 5 to about week 8 with injuries, and then we had 17 turnovers in 3 weeks. And so, anytime you're dealing with some of that stuff, it doesn't matter who you're playing. It's going to be tough to win some games. So, these guys right here, they all moved up as freshmen. That year we went 7-4. That was my first year as a head coach. Then the next year they were sophomores, and we went 9-2. So they were a part of 2 successful years, and then this last year, to our standards, wasn't probably a success, and so they've got to taste them both. So that's a good thing moving forward, that they've been a part of the good end and the bad end. And so I think they kind of have a chip on their shoulder from where we've been, and they're ready to move on and do the things that we need to do moving forward. Defensively, we do have 9 starters back. We lost 1 to graduation, then we lost 1 to transfer. So we have 9 back on defense, and then we have 9 back on offense. So we're excited for where we are. We're experienced. We've got a good group coming up from junior high who finished runner-up in our league up there. So we're excited for where we are. These guys, they come into work every day, and they put in the work, and they're there to help the younger guys as well. So right now we're pleased with where we are. Doesn't mean we're ready by any means, but we're pleased with where we are and what we're doing every day.
Guys, we'll start down here, just go down the line, listen to what Coach said, talking about having a chip on your shoulder, so many guys returning. Just talk about you guys' motivation to advance further in the playoffs this year.
I would say something that motivates all of us is like last year how we didn't go like how we planned, and just kind of bouncing back and hopefully having a more successful season.
Like Jimmy said, we had some adversity, but this year we're going to have a little bit more grit. We lost our grit. We started off strong, but yeah, we kind of lost it.
I think staying healthy is going to be a key part of our team, not just week 5 to 8, but more of, staying healthy, getting in there, working out and stuff, staying healthy. And I think that'll be a good success if we can stay healthy, help us make that run.
Like they all said, we faced some injury bug, and it hurt us for sure, but we always have this motto, next guy up, and we're going to continue to do that, and I feel like we have a great chance to have a great year, and we just got to continue doing what we're doing, stay in the weight room, listen to our coaches, and it's going to be a good one.
And just talking about the schedule real quick, I start off with Heber Springs. You got new head coach Price Holmes in Greene County Tech, and then also new Harrison head coach Van Pascal, which NEA is very familiar with. Just talk about those 3 games to get you prepared for 4A3.
Yeah, so new cycle coming up with the new conferences. So we picked up Forest City. We had Cave City who went to 8-man, so we picked up Forest City in our league. Then we dropped really everybody's scrimmage through week 3. We picked up Valley View in the scrimmage, and they're predominantly successful in the 5A East there. They do a really good job year in and year out with Coach Cockrell and those guys. So we're going to be tested right away. And then our bye week just so happened to end up being week 0, so we don't truly have a bye week. And it is what it is. We're going to move on, and there's nothing we can do about it. So week 1, we get Heber Springs at home. Coach Carmichael does a really good job with those guys. I'm not really sure what they've got back. I haven't really seen much on them this summer. Then, Greene County Tech, Coach Holmes is going to do a really good job. I've heard some things this summer on them. You don't really know that until you see. It's kind of hard to judge on some summer stuff. And then Harrison, they new coach with Van Pascal, but he's going to have those guys ready to go by week 3. So we're going to get a little bit of each and every kind of schematic we're going to see in those first 4 weeks with Valley View and what they do. They're going to spread it out. They're going to run it. They're going to throw it. Then you get to Coach Carmichael at Heber. They're going to play 11 personnel, and they're going to try to run it at you. And the same thing with, Coach Holmes is going to be a gun tee guy at Greene County, and then Coach Pascal, who runs the triple option, the flex bone there at Harrison. So we're going to see a little bit of everything, which is good, you know, in terms of we want to see that stuff moving down the road. Hopefully by the time we get to week 8, week 9, week 10, when things are getting tough and we got to prepare for those playoff guys, you know, we have seen that at some point.
Yeah, too, obviously, south side, you'll see the gun tee as well, where Price was previously. Another one, Blytheville is always kind of been one of those that, you know, they have athletes, they just needed some coach stability. And now your former Red Wolf teammate, Caton Hill, is there. Was fantastic as defensive coordinator across county. So, you know, I think that will be a team also that could possibly be really improved.
Yeah, you know, Caton's a great dude, love him to death. You know, we still talk about it every week. So I'm excited for him. I don't really know what they're going to be doing. He wouldn't tell me if I called him, you know. But it'll be exciting to see him and what he does for those guys. And again, I'm excited for him. You know, we'll root for the Chickasaws all but 1 week, you know. And so, and I'm sure he'd do the same thing. You know, we're all pretty good buddies in that league up there. And everybody does a really good job. It is not one of those leagues where we can take 1 week off, you know, here and 1 week off there. We've got to play each and every week. And these guys know that. You know, that's another thing going forward. They know that we cannot afford to overlook anybody moving forward.
No doubt. And to the players, we'll start on this side this time. Just what are some things that you have focused in on when you looked at last season and how that ended? Just maybe look individually at yourselves and thought, okay, this is what I really need to focus on throughout the offseason.
Well, as a player myself, and as a team, really, I don't like just talking about myself, but as a team, I think we really need to focus on staying out of the injury bug, which, you know, you can't help that most of the time. But as a player, I've tried to stay in the weight room and try to keep my body healthy. You know, we want to find the end of the rainbow at the end of the year, you know, make it to the state finals. So just as a team, we want to stay healthy.
I agree with Carson. You know, not just me getting injured, but Jimmy, first, second week, you know, we got Xander Marshall with his leg. I think staying healthy, and we have been in the gym. That's something we've worked on. We've been trying to get in the gym more, everyone. Not just me, not just Carson, not just Jimmy, Lexon, everyone, the whole team together. So I feel like that'll play a big factor in our success.
What I got, since we're seniors now, we're going to have to take on the role of being older brother, basically, and lift up the younger guys because they're a lot of help to us. And, yeah, just take on the role of being a leader.
Yeah, definitely something we can all work on is definitely staying in the weight room for injury prevention, but also, like myself, just keep on week in, week out, sharpening the game so I can help the team and help myself out. But, yeah, definitely a big thing is staying in the weight room, stretching, try to prevent those injuries.
Coach, we talked about a lot of the, you know, so many returning. I guess, what was it, total 18 total, something like that, starters you have returning. Here are some along with these 4 guys for us to watch out for.
So I think we have a group of 16 seniors, if my math's right. You know, you got these guys. We have Hunter McElderry on the O-line. You know, those guys. Without those guys, man, you can't do anything in game of football. You know, I think we've played 3 7-on-7 tournaments, and none of that matters because we haven't had the O-line. Okay, so Hunter McElderry, he'll be a senior for us. He'll play right guard. Axel Griffin, he'll be a senior. He'll play left guard. You know, then we've got 2 or 3 other running backs who'll be seniors, and Raymond Demison, who we had with us last year. He's making the transition from D-line, H-back type. He's going to make the transition to running back and inside backer. So then we've got Mason Sinclair, who came out, you know, week 0 last year. Weird story. We had to get out of school for a gas leak. He was booting field goals. We needed a kicker. Well, by the time we got to week 1, he could not kick anymore. I don't know what happened, but he ended up being an all-conference defensive end for us. So he'll be a senior for us. You know, man, I can't sit here and name them all, otherwise I'm going to miss somebody. But these seniors right here, you know, they were first place their 9th grade year. The juniors, they ended 3rd in junior highs, 9th graders, and then the sophomores we got, you know, they finished runner-up. So we feel pretty good about where we're at, and there's just so many of these guys that, you know, we have 51 dudes on our roster right now that I can't tell you, you know, there's going to be more than 11 guys to help us. You know, we don't have to play the Ironman football at this time. And so we try to play as many guys as we can for a couple reasons. 1 is the injury prevention. 2 is for the development of our younger guys moving forward, because at some point, whether we like it or not, these guys are going to be gone. We've got to get some of those younger guys ready, and we've kind of taken a little bit of that this summer. And, you know, our varsity guys will go, and our JV guys will almost get the same amount of reps at practice, you know, because you never know when those guys are going to be needed. So we've kind of really taken that this summer, the next step in getting our JV guys as many reps and opportunities as we can. You know, that way when their number is called, it's time for them to go.
Sure thing. Yeah, and obviously we got, you know, people from Highland, people from NEA watching, but for those maybe around Central Arkansas and the rest of the state, obviously, Coach, you know, understand how supportive Highland is. You know, you playing there, being from there. Just talk about the community support that you guys do receive as a football team and players you can get in on this as well.
Oh gosh, I mean, again, it gives me chills just sitting here talking about it because that's where I'm from. I was away for 4 years playing at Arkansas State, and it was great. It was wonderful, but I'm glad to be back. Our community, it's a football community. I know for a few years we were down a little bit, but traditionally we've been a football school. Our community is behind these guys every step of the way, all the way down from actually kindergarten. We actually started a flag football league this year, so that's been another addition to our football program. Kindergarten through 3, or kindergarten through 2nd. I'm sorry. And I know a lot of schools do that, but we've kind of been behind the 8 ball on that. So we've implemented that with the help of our school district, our community. These guys come out and help us out. Austin's actually one of the OCs for his little brother's team. So it's really cool to get these guys involved with the younger guys. That way the younger guys get to see these guys up and coming, and I want to be Jimmy, and I want to be Lexington and Carson and Austin one day. And so our community, man, we got turf 2 years ago, and it's been nothing but support there. They give us really anything we ask for, and there's really no complaining. These guys come day in and day out ready to work. We get compliments all the time, not about just football players, but the great people that they are. And that's one thing we try to take pride on is we try to let these guys know that we care about them, we love them, and we try to do the same thing about our community because it is an awesome community. If you're not from there, you won't understand, which I know a lot of people say that about their hometown. I get it. But if you're not from there, you just don't get it, and it is an awesome place to be, district-wise and just community-wise. So we're very appreciative of that.
And if you guys want to chime in on that?
Another thing is we'll go out in the community and a bunch of businesses say for instance Canyon Construction, that we'll go eat breakfast there before a game, and a lot of communities help out and outside of football too. So
Yeah, every Friday we get to go over to the church by the football field, and some of the players' moms on the team will make us food, and we'll have a pastor come give us a devotion, and we'll go watch a movie for the game, and then just kind of gets us ready, a little team bonding, and then get to go back to the football field. So it's another thing the community helps out with is just feeding us and bringing us closer and closer to God, and so it really helps out.
I add to that too. I mean, everyone's involved in our community. It's we're not just a band community, a football community, baseball, whatever. Everyone's there for every sport, and it's just amazing because there's so much help when someone needs something. There's someone there to pick you up, and we got a bunch of really big fans like my uncle. There's just a bunch of people who's always there just to lift us up and to be loud for us, and we always feel like we have someone cheering us on.
Like they said, the community's there for us, and like Coach Shire said, with this flag football youth, a few of us go out there, we help ref, we help coach. We like to watch these kids have fun, knowing that they look up to us. They come out to the games Friday nights, they support us. Carson Stanford's actually preaching tonight at Crossroads Baptist. So, we're just a loving community. So.
Great stuff, fellas. Really appreciate y'all coming back and returning this year. Best of luck to you this season.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Arkansas Select Volleyball Club focuses on personal and athletic development of our student athletes and creates a safe, positive, and effective learning environment in which student athletes strive to achieve individual excellence within a team dynamic. We view the volleyball court as our classroom, transformed to teach lessons of character, discipline, respect, responsibility, accountability, commitment, leadership, work ethic, teamwork, courage, integrity, communication, the importance of sacrifice and sportsmanship, plus many other important values on and off the court. Search Arkansas Select Volleyball online or visit our Facebook page, Arkansas Select Volleyball, to find out more.
right, to conclude day 2, we have the Izzard County Cougars. They're led by head coach Carr Hill. Coach, I will pass it over to you to give your opening statement and introduce who you brought with you.
I'm really lucky to have a great group of guys to bring up here with me. We brought our entire offensive line and our quarterback, so I'll start from left to right. I've got Evan Cole here with me. He plays guard with us. Corbin Smith is our center, and Keelan Gross here is another guard. And then on the far right side, we have Kane Johnson. And somehow these guys have managed to figure out that the way that they line up on the offensive line is how they should sit at this table. So that worked out beautifully.
Love it. Well, Izzard County goes to 8-man, I guess, in 2020, or I guess started in 2022, the football program, wins a state championship, goes to 11, I guess was in 8-man the next year, goes to 11-man for a few years, back down to 8-man. So, I know, teams do what's best for their program. That's what you guys are doing here. So just kind of talk about going back down to the 8-man ranks.
I think our kids are beyond excited. As a coaching staff, we definitely are. The cool thing about this is that it is a return back to a previous version of the game that we had success with. Now, our school numbers, the couple classes that we have coming up, are a little low in terms of numbers in male athletes, but our school has full intentions in the future with making a return to 11-man. But right now, what we're trying to do is give our kids that we have right now the best opportunity to compete and to have success.
And we'll go for the players. We'll start just here and go all the way down. So just kind of talk about that. Fresh start back into 8-man. Like I just said, things went really well your first season, hoisting the trophy at the end. So I know you guys are really motivated to get back there.
Yeah, I feel like we have a good chance this year at 8-man. I'm excited, ready to be back.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's just going to be a good return. I feel like it's going to be better for us. We're going to have more players to have on both sides of the ball, and it's just going to be easier on us. The community, I think, is really excited for it too. They've showed a lot of support. They've got us sponsorships. They've already showed up to some of our practices to watch. I mean, I just think it's going to be great.
I'm super excited. I mean, we had a rough couple of years, but this next year is going to be really fun, I think, and I think everybody's going to enjoy it that's around me.
I know as a upcoming junior, past 2 years weren't that great, but I feel like this year we're going to be able to get our feet back underneath us, and I think we're going to show a lot of people like this is actually who Izzard County is.
Coach, let's break down an 8-man a little bit. We had Rosebud in for the morning session and talked to them about just, it's obviously an offensive type game. That's still, you see a lot of high scoring games, and obviously you've got less players and things like that, a shorter field as far as sidelines, all that. But it can get interesting too when you have injuries or players not on the team for whatever reason. So what is kind of like the chess match that I don't know if you've maybe experienced that yet, but when you might have injuries or something like that, what is that like from just your experiences up to this point?
I think it's really similar to any 11-man team too, is that when you have an injury, you have to look at what best fits your kids. So regardless of, whether in 11-man you're running a 3-4 or a 4-2-5 or a 4-3, whatever your philosophy is defensively, offensively, or 8-man defensively, it's going to work the exact same way. So, for example, defensive lineman goes down, now our best look is going to have a free safety in it. We've got one less defensive lineman, and now we've got a free safety. You got to be able to do what's best for your kids, regardless of what version of the game you're playing. That being said, in our previous 2 years in 8-man football, we had a lot of high-scoring offensive games, and I saw a lot of that in other scores. But defensively, I think that I like to make that comparison too, and compare it to, are you going to see a lot more points scored in 8-man? I think sometimes yes, but there are some things that limit the offensive side of the game too in 8-man. For example, you play on a 40-yard width field. So now all your out-breaking routes and your alignment from your outside receivers and even your slots, everything changes. Corner route hits a little different. a shoot or whatever you want to call a speed out. And the passing game changes. Outside run, jet sweep, toss sweep, all that has to hit a little tighter. But it's a super fun version of the game, and it puts us in a great position to be able to compete.
Sure. My two outside offensive linemen here. Now, I used to write 8-man for Hootens. I know some coaches call the outside guards. Some call them tackles. Are y'all guards or?
Yeah, I'm right guard, and then Keelan's left.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
I'm
So,
left guard.
what's the difference? Maybe having practiced with 11-man the past 2 years. What are maybe some of the differences as opposed to just having 5 on the offensive line?
Just block left, block right.
Yeah.
Go up the middle.
So not a whole lot.
Just know your job.
There's a lot more pulling and sealing and kicking and going around, moving actually for us now. But I don't mind it. I love getting up the field, getting out there, being able to block. But it just makes us having to move a little bit more, and it's just tighter.
Yeah, for sure. And just, Coach, looking at your conference, that's one of the negatives of not having as many 8-man teams. You got some long road trips. There's definitely some long bus rides that can, just it depends on what day it is. How those go. So, what are some? And I'm not really sure previously, how far y'all have had to go, but just what are some things maybe that you've talked about and discussed within the team as far as those go? Just making sure you keep your minds right.
Whether we're playing at home or 4 hours away, you got to go into every game with the same mentality. That being said, a season is kind of like riding a Bronco. It's a little hard to, that dude's going to try to buck you off. There's always going to be challenges, but you've got to do what you can to stay on top of it.
Yeah, no question. And I don't think I've asked this a lot of times today, so forgive me if I've already something that you've all worked on throughout the off season. Like you looked at the past couple of years or last year, whatever it is, and you're like, okay, this is what I really need to improve as we go to 8-man. We'll start here with you. Just what is something you focused on, one or two things?
So I play outside linebacker on defense, and one thing Coach Hill's always talked to us about is using our hands, because if you get your hands on their outside shoulder first, you win. So it's like almost like an octopus. They have like really long arms. You gotta get your hands on them first.
For me, mainly, I've just been working on making sure I can do my job correctly and have my snaps, have them pretty accurate, and getting stronger.
I've been working on getting faster and stronger because, with my size, it's kind of hard with all these bigger linemen. I kind of have a disadvantage, in my opinion, because I'm a little bit shorter than everybody. So I just try and work on my strength, get my strength at, the best I can, get really fast at pulling and scraping against the other linemen. That just helps really quickly with my running back, being able to get there quicker.
I've just been trying to work on my assignments with my receivers and knowing what everyone's supposed to do and trying to work on my timing with my receivers as well.
And Coach, just along with these 4 guys that you have here, who are some others that we need to watch out for this year?
Man, we've got a really eager group of kids to compete. Braden Treat is a young man that couldn't make it here today, but he's a very intelligent, smart route runner that knows how to settle in space. James Down, he plays our Y, lines up in the slot. He's got a really fast 40-yard dash, great route runner, and a better kid. Love being around that guy. Got another guy, move-in player for us named Brogan Pospisil. Great height, probably 6'1", 6'2", good speed, and loves to catch a deep ball. Clayton Greenway, somebody who had an injury last year, kept him from playing, and he's back, and he's going to help us out a lot defensively. Skylar Morgan is a young sophomore that's coming up. That is, he's really growing with our defensive backs coach Tyler Hill, working with him, and I'm trying to think of whoever else. I'm not trying to leave anybody out. Landon Lee is the guy that started inside linebacker for us last year, and he really grew over the course of the season. Had a shoulder injury that had nagged him throughout the course of the year, but he's come back healthy. And really excels at reading guards, getting downhill fast, really shows us up in the box and gives us much needed leadership. Peyton Thompson is a young guy that we have. He's a junior. Kind of on the lower end of size wise, but is incredibly quick, super fast, and is about and what he lacks in size, he makes up with in attitude and just being a fighter. You know, I think these guys like to make a little joke, and they like to call him McGregor because he is a tough kid. And by gosh, I mean, I definitely wouldn't want to get in a fight with the guy because he is something else. Let's think of who else. I got Landon Gross, Keelan Gross's younger brother. He'll man that other inside linebacker spot. He's a sophomore. We're pretty young in a lot of spots, but he has great size and speed. Can kind of play anywhere offensively. We line him up at quarterback some, line him up at receiver, line him up at running back, and he really just excels at everything. Really intelligent kid, and he's also, he's a thumper defensively too. So we're excited about him too.
And we'll wrap it up with this one. We've been just kind of a fun one. We've been asking everybody. Actually, the gentleman that's been asking is walking in right now. But just something. We'll start down here. What's your favorite pregame meal, and what is your music pregame that gets you hyped up?
Pregame meal, I'm gonna have to say my grandma's chicken strips, and I don't really listen to music warming up.
I think I'm going to second that. His grandma's chicken strips are pretty good. And then for my music choice, I'm a little bit country. I like to throw it back, like Randy Travis, Keith Whitley, and then I take it a little bit like Cody Johnson type.
I think kind of an interesting thing to say here is I think his grandma's chicken strips might be my favorite pregame meal I've ever had too. They are pretty good, and we're very thankful that she does that for us.
So Grandma better make a big batch every week this year.
Well, I guess I'm gonna have to ruin it here. I really enjoy some Wendy's. Wendy's is pretty good. Music-wise, pretty much the same as like Keelan was saying, country, older songs.
Like the rest of them said, his grandma does make a mean batch of chicken strips. I gotta say, like Corbin and Keelan, I enjoy some country music right before a game. Gets me focused.
Well, guys, best of luck to you, and you're moved back down to 8-man. Really appreciate you making the trip down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that will conclude day 2. Want to thank First Community Bank again, as well as Fox 16 and Chick-fil-A for lunch, and also Arkansas Select Volleyball for all the support. We'll see everybody tomorrow.
Arkansas Select Volleyball Club focuses on personal and athletic development of our student athletes and creates a safe, positive, and effective learning environment in which student athletes strive to achieve individual excellence within a team dynamic. We view the volleyball court as our classroom, transformed to teach lessons of character, discipline, respect, responsibility, accountability, commitment, leadership, work ethic, teamwork, courage, integrity, communication, the importance of sacrifice and sportsmanship, plus many other important values on and off the court. Search Arkansas Select Volleyball online or visit our Facebook page, Arkansas Select Volleyball, to find out more.
And finally, a Central Arkansas success story. A salute to my friends of the Natural State Sports Network.
Few people are enjoying calling high school games more than Steve Henson.
25-20, 15, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, give it 6. What a play by the Coyote.
So much fun to be able to call the game with that excitement. The parents love it, the fans love it. The kids just absolutely eat it up. We could get him involved more. That kid's, he's got a ton of talent.
Steve and his partner, Will Watkins, who Steve calls the mastermind, did their first game 5 years ago. Fast forward to 2025, 5 schools now have contracts with the Natural Sports Network.
It was one of those things where, you know, when we started doing it, we had no idea what we were doing. So it was like, hey, we'll do it, and if people think it's cool, then great. There's no way you could have gotten me to believe that we'd be where we are today and the impact we've had.
Good decision by the Bears to hold it right there.
Oh! And they take pride in the quality of their broadcast.
We want to be able to put out something that's not just, you know, anybody can, with the advent of Huddle and everything else, anybody can put a stream out now. But we want something that that the viewer can enjoy. And from commentary to the angles to the cameras.
Hornets are headed to Bank of the Ozark Arena on Saturday.
Say the guy behind camera, Will Watkins, searches YouTube on how to do games.
Oh, wow.
He's been the mastermind behind the whole deal. But
It's a quality product.
Yeah, it's a great team over there.
Okay, good
Yep.
stuff, Sully.
Yep.
Thanks very much. We'll be right back.